What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 9 hectoseconds Chapter 173 Marvel World, Wakanda. The large blue energy shield enveloped the entire Wakanda. Alien creatures are like crawling beasts, constantly hitting the shield, making dull noises. Various laser shells bombarded the energy shield, exploding dense fire. Facing such an offensive, Wakanda's energy shield remained motionless. Wakanda's technology is no worse than Tony Stark's, and its owner, Black Panther, is even richer than Tony. This is a paradise without external interference, without wars and disturbances, and technology that has been developed for countless years. This makes Wakanda's current level of science and technology ahead of the outside world for countless years. This is why the main battlefield is chosen here. Boom. At this time, a mage in the alien civilization descended. He condensed the magic array with both hands, hurriedly shot a beam of energy restlessness, and temporarily opened an opening in the energy shield. Although the opening was filled again soon, there were still dozens of alien creatures pouring in. The Avengers had expected it a long time ago, so the formation has been arranged internally. At the moment when the enemy poured in, the warriors of Wakanda shouted loudly and swarmed forward. Wakanda! Kill! Boom! The sound of clanging, the bombardment of artillery fire, the sound of laser emission. The noise is endless, artillery bombardment, civilized fights, and blood spatters of different colors. The peculiar colored blood of alien civilization is dyed with the bright red blood of human beings on the earth, like a sea of blood soaking this land. Pieces of corpses fell down, but the sound of the fight could not stop. The Black Panthers, American team, Thor, and Quicksilver were the first to bear the brunt, while Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch were in the back row. There are also some Avengers heroes in the second queue to prevent individual giant alien creatures from rushing in. In the deep headquarters of Wakanda, SHIELD personnel are also here, monitoring every corner of Wakanda. Kira, you need your strength very much now, you hurry to help. Fury reached out and grabbed Kira's arm, his expression a little ugly. Sorry, it's holiday time, I'm off work. Kira Jiying pulled away his grasped arm. He straightened the neckline of his suit, his face was expressionless, no waves were visible. As a worker, I will never go to work during vacation time. Once agreed to go to work, it is a social animal. But you are here. What's the difference between this and going to work? I'll give you 10 times the overtime pay, please. Fury's mouth twitched slightly. I can't go to work, but Kira Jiying has come to work, so can he help me by the way? Now it's an alien invasion, instead of clocking in at work in SHIELD. Isn't everyone responsible for defending the Earth? Is it because you can go to other worlds and do whatever you want? Sorry, I am here to welcome Mr. Immortal and my friends, not to come to work. Kira Jiying said blankly. Even if I come to the door of the workplace during the holidays, you can't let me go to work. Fury. Alright, you win. Fury was completely speechless, facing Kira Jiying, he couldn't force it. In SHIELD, the most uncontrolled is Kira Jiying. With expulsion as a threat, Kira Jiying didn't see it at all. If it's a big deal, he will go to work in other companies. Anyway, as long as it is a work in a suit, he can do it. This guy is a working emperor, every grandmaster, but he has terrible self-discipline. You have to get off work when you are off work, and you must exercise when you exercise. Sleep time is punctual to the second, and hot milk at night is indispensable. Director, Tony brought someone here to support, a SHIELD agent exclaimed in joy. Everyone looked at the transferred monitor at the same time and saw a super large flying object. It is flying to Wakanda at a speed that is about to break through the speed of sound. Rumble. The huge machinery deformed into a human-shaped mecha in the air, fell heavily into the ground, and set off a wave of dust. Dozens of alien creatures were shot by the 20-meter-tall mobile suit Gundam and stepped into a pool of flesh on the spot. At the moment of landing, Shiyu Shajichu directly controlled the Gundam, raising the 5-meter muzzle to condense the energy laser. The blue-violet energy particles gathered on the muzzle and shot out into a round cannonball. The alien creatures in a large area in front of them were all exploded into ashes under this gun. The huge gully spread thousands of miles away, and there were residual energy particles on the scorched soil, emitting scalding heat. Sneer, white smoke wafted out of the muzzle, and several figures jumped over his shoulders. It is the members of the Cha group. This Gundam is the masterpiece of Shiyu Kasumi Goka. She was also a cultivator herself, and she leapt lightly and fell to the ground cleverly. Well, the effect is not bad, Shajiju Shiyu said triumphantly. Hulla. It's powerful, and it's a top-level injury in the middle of the ocean. Whitebeard laughed loudly. It's okay. Saitama's dazed appearance with dead fish eyes, he didn't seem to care. His bald head looked unusually reflective under the refraction of sunlight. Not bad. Rimuru responded with a smile, and even gave a thumbs up in praise. But Yasuo, Menyashi, and Waz did not answer, but looked at the aliens in the distance. Regardless of Shajichu Shiyu's Gundam damage is very wide, but there are a lot of alien creatures. When the numbers pile up, I'm afraid they can fill 100 Starrk industrial buildings. Hey. What's your reaction? It's either a perfunctory answer or ignoring me. Shajiju Shiyu suddenly said with some annoyance. But we can't blame all the members of the group, it's really these people, one more pervert. Although this laser cannon was amazing, it seemed a little trivial to the big guys who participated in the mission this time. Those who have experienced strong winds and waves, being able to say a few words of praise is already the best performance. Ha ha ha. Sister Shajiju, don't be angry, we didn't mean it. Why don't we vent our anger with those alien creatures? Rimuru pointed at the alien beast running from a distance, and said with a smile. HMPH, I'm too lazy to bother you, I want to go inside, my Gundam can be controlled remotely, bye. Without turning his head back, Shiyu Shajichu walked directly inward along the path that the energy particle cannon opened. Before Mr. Immortal comes back, let's quickly earn more points. When Mr. Immortal comes back, you won't even be able to drink the soup. Kamen Rider Waz took a step forward, took out another watch and gently pressed it down. Galaxy. The voice came from the watch, it's time for me to perform. Waz under the mask grinned and pressed the Galaxy watch on the drive, squeezing it hard. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Number 174 Chapter 174, Action. A circular aperture suddenly appeared in front of Waz. It was a rotating universe. Can clearly see the twinkling stars, the vast universe and planets. Projection. Finally time. Jinjin. Jira Jira Galaxy. Fantasy beyond the universe. Waz Ginga finally. The planets of the solar system lined up in front of him and then embedded into the armor. Waz has a sun pattern on his chest and other planets on his left and right shoulders. Congratulations. The strongest ultimate galaxy form in the universe. Waz's voice paused and suddenly raised his hand to the side. Boom. The power from the abyss of the universe exploded from the void, and several alien creatures that attacked him were exploded into blood mist on the spot. The 10,000 Realms chat group exclaimed. Tanjiro Shaman. Oh my god, someone interrupted Waz's celebration spell. Polygonum cuspidatum. The power of that move just now is not small. It turns out that Waz is also a person who hides his strength. Jin Muyon. Boss. Gangster. Real Horn Dagu. Amazing, and the robot of Miss Shajichu has a very strong combat power. If you make it bigger, you can fight the monster. Acedes. Where is my Mr. Immortal? Why can't I see his live broadcast? Is it possible that he is? Yun Yun. When the live broadcast was first started, he seemed to come with a beautiful girl. Beatrice. That's Miss Amelia from my family, Ace Day. Ah. Is it possible that Mr. Immortal went to open the house with her? Damn it, be one step ahead. Beatrice. Put away your nasty thoughts, my Miss Amelia is not like this. Beatrice. Of course, Mr. Immortal is not such a person. Izumi Sagiri. You are so astringent, Tony Stark. Isn't Sagiri's notebook more astringent? Senju Chang. At Ace Day C, if you talk nonsense all day long, don't blame me for being rude. Polygonum cuspidatum. Oh who, Acedes is brave enough to provoke Mr. Immortal. Ains Christine. Mr. Immortal, do you need me to punish her? Acedes. Huh? Is Mr. Immortal going to give me this bone? How can this be? Ace Day. I know I was wrong, I beg Mr. Immortal to let it go. Senju Changsheng. Forget it this time, and the next time, Ains will use it directly. Ains Christine. I see, Waz. Is this the crowd eating melons? Suddenly I was a little envious. I knew I wouldn't be coming. Boom. Using the power of the galaxy to explode an empty field nearby, Waz couldn't help feeling a little tired. He didn't get points when he came over, just came to help and take a look at the scenery. At the beginning, I was a little excited, and I can fully display the power of the night. But the number of enemies is really too much, and they are endless. Even if you can kill, there will be a moment of exhaustion. Sure enough, it's more comfortable to watch the live broadcast and eat melons, Waz sighed. No wonder Thanos would say that there are too many creatures in the universe, and the endless stream of alien creatures makes the scalp numb. Ho-la-la-la. If the little friend is tired, go inside to defend, let us who take the task here. Whitebeard smashed the space with a punch, cracks split like a spider web. Click. The creatures that hit the cracks were as if they were cut to pieces by a knife, and the corpses piled up. Saitama and Yasuo once again carried out a massacre to the outside world, beheading a swarm of creatures with one punch and a knife, strangling the enemy frantically like a harvester. Doriyashi inserted the shock fruit ability card and displayed the same ability as Whitebeard. He rushed to the alien spacecraft in the sky, punching out the void rift, destroying one spacecraft after another. When everyone was crushing, a transmission channel was opened in vain in the void. A large spacecraft that obscured the sky shuttled out of the space channel. On the top of the spacecraft stood a strong man with a purple sweet potato head and a height of 2 meters. His right hand is wearing a golden glove with 4 infinite gems inlaid on it, exuding vast cosmic energy. Standing next to him is everyone's old acquaintance Loki. The plot of the Marvel Universe has undergone tremendous changes, which is closely related to the last event. There was only 1 gem of time left in the Earth, but by chance, the Guardians of the Galaxy contacted the Avengers in advance. They came to the Earth with the Gem of Power. In the original book, the Power Gem is the first infinite gem that Thanos gets. He came. Doctor Strange landed in front of everyone and said in a deep voice, "That is what Shinju and Saul said about Thanos. In the future I see, he successfully killed half of the creatures in the universe. Is that guy strong?" The picture on Saitama's face changed in vain, his palms clenched into fists, and a slight wave of air rippled. "Huh? Is that person the leader of this alien invasion? Shouldn't it be enough to kill him?" Rimuru asked cutely. "Our task is to kill him, but the 4 infinite gems in this guy's hand are not easy to mess with." Tony Stark descended from the sky, and a group of Avengers heroes followed, looking up at the giant spaceship above. "Rocky, this guy." Thor's complexion was a little unpleasant, his brother actually chose to betray. Click. The Mon Yashi in the Emperor riding form did not know where he took out the camera and took a picture of Thanos. Unfortunately, the photo did not turn into a night card. "Only members of the group can become my strength, or this purple guy is too weak." Mamayaji swung the photo a few times, and finally received it. His goal is not only to gather power, but also to photograph the face of every world. Thanos appeared like a king, looking down at the kingdom of Wakanda below. He raised his hand to activate the space gem, and Wakanda's energy shield suddenly opened several openings. The turrets on the giant spaceship all face Wakanda. Boom. 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 A series of sky-filled artillery swept out, beams of light shot down, crazily destroying the kingdom of Wakanda. Those who failed to react have all become dead souls under the gunfire. Everyone in S.H.I.E.L.D. was shocked and hurriedly activated the backup plan with the people of Wakanda. Another layer of S.H.I.E.L.D. rose up, resisting the remaining bombardment. But compared to the previous S.H.I.E.L.D., this time the energy shield is significantly smaller. Those buildings that were not protected were all collapsed and destroyed at this moment, and the flames burned the land into black soil. The Avengers below are all together, as well as chat group members who sacrificed their own methods at the same time. Boom. 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 Tony released an energy barrier to protect all members of the Avengers nearby. Whitebeard's huge body stood in front of the chat group members and punched it directly, shattering the space and isolating the scattered beams of artillery fire. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 175 Anti-Saitama Armor. Under the violent bombing, Wakanda was dilapidated, like a wasteland, only a small area was left to survive. Cull. A gust of hot wind passed by, and the thick smoke also drifted away. The kingdom of Wakanda, which was originally like a tropical rainforest, has now completely turned into apocalyptic ruins, with broken walls and collapsed walls. Thanos manipulates space gems, teleporting from the spaceship to the wasteland, behind which are tens of thousands of alien creatures. "These are the guardians of this planet?" Thanos opened his wide mouth and said disdainfully, "Too weak. 4 infinite gems are in hand, enough to make him invincible. Even if the creatures on this planet have 2 infinite gems, they are absolutely unable to fight against themselves. Don't talk too much, and Loki, are you really going to betray Asgard?" Thor, the god of thunder, held an axe and looked at Loki. "Of course, my brother, isn't this already obvious?" Rocky sneered, very determined. "You look strong, come and fight me." At this time, a bloody smile appeared on Saitama's face, and every step he took, his aura continued to rise. His eyes were locked on Thanos, and the blood in his heart was burning. Seeing Saitama coming, Thanos's plain eyes revealed a different color. "Interesting, I didn't expect such a powerful human being on this planet," Thanos grinned. Boom. The soles of Saitama's feet were stamped by gravity, and a huge hole was stamped out on the ground. His figure suddenly appeared in front of Thanos, and the aura of his whole body reached its peak. Boom. The terrifying air pressure swept out, and as soon as his fist raised his hand, it drove the vast power. It seems that this space will be shattered in an instant. Faced with such an offensive, Thanos was expressionless. The yellow light burst out from his gloves, exuding the power of the universe, and the power of the soul gem was activated on the spot. He was not afraid of Saitama's punch, and he didn't mean to face it head-on. Thanos intends to control Saitama for his own use. Boom. The crimson fist suddenly stopped on Thanos' face. The strong wind swept through it like a knife, and the alien creatures behind Thanos hurriedly dodged. But there were still some creatures exploded into blood mist on the spot, forming a 100-mile gully on the ground. The scene was terrifying. But in front of Thanos, there was a spatial fluctuation, which transferred this wave of air to Wakanda's interior. Inside half of Wakanda disappeared in an instant. Kira Jiying stood on the other side with a cold sweat on his forehead, sighing inwardly. Standing a little bit crookedly, he will be lifted off the spot by this blast. Kill all the people here and help me regain the remaining 2 infinite gems. Thanos' flat voice sounded, shocking everyone present. The next moment, Saitama turned around in vain and faced the Avengers. Boom. In the astonishment of everyone, Saitama's figure flashed, accompanied by a dull loud noise. A hill behind exploded on the spot. Everyone was suddenly startled, only to realize that Saitama had replaced Thor's position just now. And the blasted hill in the rear was pierced by Thor's body. What happened? Tony Stark is also dumbfounded. What is the situation? How does Saitama attack his own people? The members of the group were also stunned. Kamen Tanjiro. Mr. Saitama, what are you doing? Polygonum cuspidatum urine. You called the wrong person. Kira Yoshikage. There is something wrong with Saitama's state. Zhang Jue. The old man thinks so too. Senju Chang. It is the power of the gem of the soul. Saitama is controlled by Thanos. Jin Muyan. Chiamon Tanjiro. What? Mr. Saitama is under control. Tony Stark. This is not so good. Saitama broke the human body limiter, and his physical strength reached an extremely terrifying level. But the problem also followed, and his emotions gradually disappeared. This is a sign that Saitama's psychic power is weakening, or that his psychic power cannot keep up with the performance of his physical strength. Thanos, who possessed the gem of the soul, directly controlled Saitama's mind on the spot. Jin Muyan. What should we do now? Chiamon Tanjiro. It seems that I have to wait for Mr. Immortal to come over. Zhang Jue. Little friend Saitama's strength, but I am very afraid. Doriyashi draws out the card and prepares to fight. Don't worry, there will be no problems with me. Tony Stark. No, I will do it this time. Call out. A huge flying machine landed next to Tony, and the mechanical armor on his body suddenly began to move and piece it together. Combine and reorganize with the armor in this aircraft. The densely packed machinery was loaded on Tony's armor, and the rotating sound of the machinery was particularly pleasing to the ear. The appearance of the steel armor gradually became stronger. Anti-Saitama armor. Tony, this guy has secretly developed various armors, and this anti-Saitama armor is one of them. Come on, my armor finally comes in handy. Boom. Tony rose into the air and fell in front of Saitama. Oncoming is Saitama's crimson fist. The power of horror seemed to form a shadow of 100 Zhang fists, whizzing towards Tony. The armor of Tony's whole body was squirming at this moment. He actually chose to resist the opponent with fist and fist. Boom. In an instant, a dazzling light burst out from the back of Tony's armor, as if countless thrusters were assisting him. The whole armor is jumping and squirming, like particles with life. Careful observation can reveal that the floating of the armor has a regular cycle. All the power that Saitama played was introduced into the armor, transformed into kinetic energy, and then formed energy propulsion behind Tony. After a punch, the wind is calm. Tony took Saitama's indescribable punch unscathed. All members of the 10,000 Realms chat group were stunned. Tanjiro Shaman. Mr. Tony. Awesome. Ainzer Christine. His armor has actually achieved this step. Shajichu Shiyu. It's amazing. It uses the frequency of vibration to buffer the power and turn it into kinetic energy, using the opponent's power to turn it into one's own use. Shajiju Shiyu. This is just a ghostly thought. Shiyu Shajichu, who had already arrived inside Wakanda, almost jumped up with excitement. This is definitely not just physical knowledge, it also incorporates a lot of biological structure knowledge. Tony's hand inspired her, and she must refit to a stronger Gundam when she goes back. Manyashi. I didn't expect to develop armor against Saitama by myself, it's not bad. Edward Newgate. Yes, Saitama will be dealt with by little friend Tony. Let's take the head of the other party. BB Dong. I don't feel right. The other party has the ability to control. If there is no way to deal with it, it's better not to go. Rimuru Pest. Huh? What should I do? Don't you have to fight? Rimuru Pest. It seems wrong. I seem to be immune to mind control. Acedes. Polygonum cuspidatum urine. Izumi Sagiri. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 176. The battle between Rimuru and Thanos. Rimuru's words stunned the group members. Everyone just remembered that they had never understood what kind of existence Rimuru was. Is it another hidden boss? In fact, he is really a hidden boss. Mind gems belong to mental attacks, and Rimuru has long been immune to all mental attacks. Not only immune to mental attacks, but also to physical and magical attacks. Plus Slime's regeneration ability, it can be said that Rimuru is an immortal existence. Even Senju Chang, he dare not say that he can kill Rimuru 100%. Thanks to me to deal with Thanos, I will have nothing to do. Rimuru chuckled and walked towards Thanos on the spot. The Avengers, the chat group and others were not taken aback either. They rushed directly to the enemies on Thanos' side, and they sacrificed their methods to fight together. Kill. A chaotic battle started. All kinds of light beams, artillery fire, and magic shuttled across the sky. On this continent of Wakanda, deep pits were blown up. On the other side, Tony and Saitama have played hundreds of rounds. The momentum was mighty, the wind swept, and the earth collapsed. The dull fist crashing sounded a tremor in others' hearts. The two sides fought inextricably, hitting from east to west, destroying several peaks, and rubble fell and flooded. Over time, Tony's armor gradually became unbearable. Everything consumes energy and durability. But Saitama seems to have no limits. Every punch is powerful and fearful, and he does his best to bombard. Tony's anti-Saitama armor was gradually worn out and durable in this collision. Tony Stark. I'm sorry everyone, the stamina of this guy Saitama is much better than I thought. Who of you can help? Tony had to pull his face down and ask the others in the group for help. It's really difficult. Doriyashi. Sure enough, I still need to come, let me come here. Final attack ride. Decade. As the sound fell, the Golden Emperor fell from the sky. A knight flew through multiple magic cards and hit Saitama's bald head on the spot. Boom. After playing for so long, Saitama was finally knocked out for the first time. Tony breathed a sigh of relief. He felt his armor had been hot to hundreds of degrees. Had it not been for good heat insulation and heat dissipation performance, Tony would have been burned to death now. Leave it to you, brother, Tony thanked him, and his armor fell off on the spot. Pieces of heavy armor fell into the ground, smashing a small dirt hole. The broken mecha fragments even scalded a layer of red light on the soil. Tony returned to the form of Immortal Armor 2 again. After resting for half a minute, he gritted his teeth and rushed towards the alien creatures. On Thanos' side, he used the power of 4 infinite gems to control several members of the Avengers and sneak into Wakanda secretly. Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange discovered that there was something wrong with their teammates at the same time, and the moment they intercepted them, the battle broke out. The whole Wakanda was caught in the chaos of war. No matter it was on the outside or inside, there were explosive sounds, fireworks skyrocketed, and entire areas turned into ruins. The commanders of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Wakanda all began to retreat, including Kira Yoshikage and Kasumigo Shiyu. Shit, with Thanos as the center, a red magic array suddenly appeared on the ground with a radius of 1,000 meters. A thin line of flame burned on the array. Then the flame tornado rushed straight into the sky, burning the place scorchingly. Both the alien creatures and the heroes of the Earth had to back down to avoid being burned. But Thanos in the central position calmly walked out of the flames. The power of space lingers throughout the body, forming a perfect protection. Your abilities are also good. I didn't expect that there are so many outstanding people on this planet. Follow me. I need such a powerful magician by my side. With a clenched fist of Thanos, the Soul Gem and Soul Gem are activated at the same time, and the orange and yellow colors emit brilliant brilliance at the same time. He wants to control Rimuru and become his own subordinate. The light shrouded, and Rimuru stood there without any movement. After the infinite gem energy ended, Thanos' broad face showed a stunned look. Why is there no other party's soul and telepathy? Thanos looked at Rimuru in doubt. But seeing the other party smile slightly, his figure suddenly became bigger, and in less than a moment, it turned into a huge dragon. Sorry, I am immune to mental attacks. Limuru's tender voice came from the dragon's body, feeling quite strange. Roar, the dragon roared, and the dragon's breath spit out from its mouth, instantly submerging Thanos' tower-like body. Layers of magic auras condensed in the void, covering Thanos. The Space Gem ability was activated again, and it strongly repelled these magic auras. This is Limuru's space magic, and he intends to disable the power of space gems. But obviously, Rimuru somewhat underestimated the cosmic energy of space gems. It is an almost infinite energy gem, which can only repel each other, but it can never be worn away. Boom! The void tore open purple-black cracks, spreading in all directions. Thanos stepped out again from the light circle and dragon's breath, and the 4 gems of the infinite glove shone light at the same time, sweeping everything around. At this time, a figure appeared in front of him instantly, and handed a purple infinite gem. Quicksilver. Quicksilver controlled by Thanos' mind gems, when the battle broke out. At a speed that could not cover his ears, he snatched the power gem placed in the deepest place. Ding! Thanos sneered and took the power gem. The huge glove was like an iron-absorbing stone and sucked the gem to the back of the glove. Purple energy flows from the gloves to his limbs. With infinite power, Thanos' muscles all over cheered. 5 infinite gems, this game should be over. Thanos exudes a turbulent momentum, like a tiger going down the mountain, punching out. Boom! This punch was more fierce than Saitama's serious punch. There are hurricanes roaring across the battlefield, and the wind and clouds are rolling. The purple light made Thanos' purple body dazzling. Bang! At the moment when his punch was about to touch Rimuru, Rimuru directly changed from a dragon into a slime shape. Rimuru in the slime form was punched by Thanos on the spot into a shape like a water polo. Guru. The terrifying airwave did not oscillate around, but was swallowed by Limuru's crushing body. His liquid body absorbed all the airwaves and expanded like a hot air balloon. Break. The next moment, he was like a punctured balloon, blowing out a lot of gas. Rimuru, who had turned back into a little slime, fell to the ground, bounced a few times, and looked harmless to humans and animals. Seeing this scene, the members of the group who had just been scared were immediately stunned. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 177. All the members of the 10,000 Realms chat group thought that Rimuru would be blown away by Thanos, and that he would suffer severe damage if he died. That was a blow of the power gem. The power gem represents infinite power. As a result, Rimuru suddenly turned into a ball of liquid and absorbed all the damage from the opponent. Prevent the overflow of energy, which will destroy other areas. Everyone was dumbfounded by the operation of such a fairy. Physical immunity. One of Rimuru's abilities. At the same time, he absorbed the energy emitted from Thanos' infinite gloves and analyzed it with the Great Sage. The cosmic energy was disassembled and analyzed by the Great Sage, and then turned into an immune function. The power of 5 infinite gems is immune to Rimuru on the spot. In addition to the time gem, the power of the remaining 6 infinite gems will no longer have any effect on Rimuru. This is the horror of Rimuru, and when he becomes the strongest form, he has reached a creation level existence. Of course, judging from the current world flow rate, Senju Chang, Yifan and others will probably achieve this kind of existence earlier than him. The flow of time in Rimuru world is very slow. Angel Christine. This is a slime? Beatrice. It seems to be a slime. Izumi Sagiri. Kawaii. Seeds. Huh. Yifan. What's the situation? Zhang Jue. What is a slime, and little friend Rimuru? Angel Christine. So that's it, Rimuru itself is a slime, which is really shocking. Polygonum cuspidatum. What? Chiamon Tanjiro. Bibi Dong. It's kind of cute. Yun Yun. I also think it's so cute. Shajichu Shiyu. Huh. It turns out that Rimuru is a slime. Isn't the slime very weak? Angel Christine. Normal slimes are indeed weak, and I am also surprised, but Rimuru's abilities seem to be far superior to slimes. Rimuru Turnpest. Ha 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 ha. I am indeed a slime, but I have some special abilities, so I was cast. You guy. What the hell is going on? Thanos was stunned, and he, who crossed the universe, was now stunned by Rimuru. What is this ability and why is it so weird? And what is this ability? From a human to a dragon and then to a liquid-like thing. He has never seen such a creature in the universe. The most important thing is that a punch of 5 infinite gems failed to kill the opponent. Sorry, I'm still physically immune. Rimuru chuckled. The slime suddenly shot out the universal silk, wrapped around Thanos' body. Silk. Silk. The transparent white line instantly trapped Thanos' body, and he immediately urged the power gems, and purple flowed through his body. The surging power shattered the ground, but it was still unable to break free from the shackles of the universal silk. It's useless, you can't break free. Rimuru moved the light blue sphere body and smiled lightly. The battle here seems to have ended, but the surrounding battle still continues. Boom. 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 The battle between Saitama and Teki broke the ground, and the dust wave swept across. Thanos squinted his eyes slightly, his gaze was locked on the Emperor's body, and the 5 infinite gems bloomed at the same time. The battle scene suddenly changed at this moment, and everyone was at the same moment, as if they had come to a new world. The power of reality gems directly tampered with the reality of thousands of miles away. Hum. A red light enveloped the audience, and Thanos' figure disappeared in front of everyone at this moment. It's not that he really disappeared, but that he has been covered by this red light. The surrounding things can be said to be illusions, but they can also be said to be real. It is difficult to distinguish between true and false. Only Rimuru could see that the moment Thanos enveloped thousands of miles with red light, he was also teleported to other places by the space gem. No. This guy is going to run. Everyone be careful, Rimuru yelled hurriedly. But he found that the eyes of the people around him had a flash of red light and fell into the illusion. Some heroes even fought each other, treating each other as enemies, and attacked extremely harshly. When Thanos reappeared, he had already come to Emperor Chi's side. His bound body stretched out his palms wearing infinite gloves and pressed them on the head of the Emperor. Boom. The power of the infinite gem and the power of the driver collide with a colorful shockwave in the air. Saitama rushed inside without looking back, he was going to grab the last gem of time. The Emperor who intercepted Saitama is now fighting against Thanos. If it weren't for the Immortal Night card used now, the Emperor had been controlled on the spot. But even so, he is still gradually losing consciousness, and after a while, he will be completely controlled by Thanos. Rimuru roared, and several blue and white magic arrays suddenly formed in the air. Rumble. The magic light wave of the wind and snow rushed out, and the place it passed by instantly condensed into ice. Thanos grabbed the Emperor's head directly, facing the icy magic that was rolling in, scared Rimuru hurriedly to terminate the magic attack. Sympathy for life is a manifestation of the weak. Thanos sneered twice with disdain, and then released his huge palm. Emperor Chi had been successfully controlled by him and rushed towards Rimuru. Although there were some small obstacles in the middle, under the 5 infinite gems, Thanos finally broke through the defense of Emperor Cavalry. Ah. Mr. Immortal, I seem to screw up, Rimuru yelled embarrassingly. The promised Thanos was handed over to him, but Thanos also controlled the Emperor and let Saitama rush into Wakanda. Rumble. There was a loud roar from within Wakanda, and the Gundam of Shiyu Kasumigoka was smashed into pieces by Saitama's punch. Several magic arrays were even ignored by Saitama on the spot, and they shattered into magic particles scattered under the rampage. Damn it, the helper Tony invited is a bit scary, isn't this a disservice? Doctor Strange looks ugly and constantly releases magic, but he can't resist Saitama's attack. He wants to use the power of the time gem, but once he uses it, he must unlock the seal. The time gem might fall directly into Thanos' hands. Boom. When Doctor Strange hesitated, he was completely black in front of him, and he was directly blown away by Saitama. The time gem on his chest was even torn off by Saitama on the spot. With a firm grip on his palm, the container sealing the time gem was instantly shattered. An emerald green gem was revealed, held in Saitama's palm. Call out. Saitama turned to Thanos and rushed past at an astonishing speed. The controlled Emperor Chi fought with Rimuru for hundreds of rounds in a short period of time, and the aftermath of magic killed many enemies. In the end, the Emperor was tied into persimmons by Limuru's universal silk, lying on the ground immobile. The drive was even taken off by Rimuru, swallowed into his body, and analyzed with the great sage. The Yashi also changed back to an ordinary person, lying on the ground. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 178 Snap Your Fingers. The power of Emperor Chi is very strong, and Rimuru has spent a lot of effort in order to control him. If it weren't for his own ability heaven-defying, plus the power of God's right itself is not complete, Rimuru really couldn't control it so quickly. Although the Emperor Chi Master has acquired Senju's longevity abilities, the use of each ability requires the insertion of a card. Rimuru used this idle time to release the avatar magic in the omnipotent silk, and directly tied the opponent, making it difficult to break free. The Emperor Chi drive was swallowed into his body, and after the analysis was completed, several drives were copied on the spot. All the golden drives were uploaded directly to the 10,000 Realms chat group by Rimuru. Tony Stark. Damn, Rimuru actually has this ability. This shouldn't be a model, right? Rimuru turned pest. It's not a model, it's all usable. Please download it. If it is not enough, I can make it. Zhang Jue. This is a bit outrageous. Shajichu Shiyu. Yes. Can. After this mission is over, I will also get one to study it. Ainzel Christine. It's amazing. It still has the ability to copy. The drive shouldn't be copied so easily. How is this done? Tony Stark. Regardless of him, downloaded directly at that time, is there any way for Rimuru to get Manyaji back to normal? Rimuru turned pest. It shouldn't be a problem. After leaving the chat group, Rimuru returned to a human body. He put his hand on the head of the door arrow, and the magical energy in his body was released. A palm-sized magic array was carved into the void, and a faint luster penetrated into Menyashi's head. In less than a moment, Menyashi's struggle gradually ceased. His originally blurred eyes finally returned to the previous state. Manyashi looked around calmly, and his own embarrassment situation. Feng Qingyun said calmly. It seems that I am under control, but can you please help me solve it? Even in the most embarrassing scene, you must pretend to be calm. As long as you are not embarrassed, it is others who are embarrassed. Good. With Limuru's finger moved, the universal thread scattered directly into the air. At the same time, he took both hands, and a huge golden magic circle appeared in the sky. It is like the holy light illuminating the earth, and the stars are swaying and falling. The crimson light emitted by the real gems also dissipated in an instant. The fighting heroes also come back to their senses at this moment. They fought the enemy for a long time, and they turned out to be their own partners. No wonder they are so strong. Damn it, what's the matter? It's an infinite gem. Oh, Thanos, stop him. It's too late. The regained American team looked far away solemnly. Everyone cast their eyes at the same time, and saw a bald figure standing in front of Thanos. What he holds in his hand is the sixth gem, the Gem of Time. My big plan finally succeeded. Thanos took the emerald green time gem into his hand and sucked it on the infinite glove. Boom. The violent power erupted from his body, and the six colors flowed in his body, as if he possessed the power of creation. All the Avengers suddenly felt desperate and rushed forward desperately. Boom. 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 Thanos instantly became the god of war, knocking down one by one punch. Spider-Man was fisted by him, and Thor's axe was crushed by one of his palms. The Hulk was stepped on by Thanos and roared. No matter how angry he was, he still couldn't get up. The shields that had followed the American team for many years were also broken into pieces. Thanos flicked his fingers and shot a six-color glare. All members of the Galaxy Guard were flooded with light and turned into dust. The Crimson Witch released chaos magic, and the scarlet light fell on Thanos, but it failed to cause any impact. The six infinite gems on the infinite gloves bloomed at the same time, and the power of the heart and soul caused a backlash against the Scarlet Witch. Boom. The Scarlet Witch flew out, bleeding from her ears, nose and mouth, and she fell into a coma. As for Doctor Strange, who can hit the most, he was severely injured by a punch by Saitama a long time ago. To say that Saitama is here to help is really not wrong. Damn it, this guy has gathered all the infinite gems. The US team dragged the scarred body and slowly stood up. Cough cough. Raytheon vomited blood. He himself was internally injured by Saitama, and now he was beaten again by Thanos, which was really very uncomfortable. It's over, my brother, Rocky grinned, as if he was a winner. The long road is long, only the sword is your company. Yasuo walked slowly with the long knife, Behind him, there was a sea of corpses. All the alien creatures became his dead souls. Today, in the ruins of Wakanda, the only alien creature is Thanos. The spaceship above has been completely emptied by Whitebeard, and the alien creatures below were all killed by Yasuo. Quickly, don't let him use the power of infinite gloves. Seeing Thanos raising his right hand, Tony Stark yelled eagerly. Propelled by the energy of the whole body armor, it instantly approached Thanos. Boom! The Edmund alloy long knife slashed out, running the breath of the sun, drawing a crimson flame. But Tony's knife suddenly stopped in the air, as if it had been cut on an impenetrable wall, and he could see the sound of sonorous friendship. Such a scene made everyone feel cold for a while. It's not over yet. Kang! A white sword light whizzed out, so fast that it was hard to catch with the naked eye. Thanos snapped his fingers and froze there abruptly, and a bloodline appeared on his broad cheeks. Cut the steel flash. Yasuo's figure was like a hurricane swept across, came to Thanos, and slashed out. The wind is howling and the waves are raging. One side of the tsunami picture is covered, dripping water and turning the blade. Like a huge amount of sharp blades, falling from the sky. An ant-like existence. Thanos looked angry, and the power of the space gem moved the tsunami hundreds of meters away, causing a rumbling sound. At the same time, he reached out and grabbed Yasuo's long knife. With a slight force, he could grab the opponent's weapon into pieces. Shit. His speed is fast, but Yasuo's knife is faster. Thanos' palm was directly cut out of a purple bloodline. In the next moment, Zon Gangshan cut out again. Pouch. Blood flashed across Thanos' chest, and blood gushed out from the front of his chest. His always calm face finally showed a slight change. Enduring the pain, he raised his arm again and snapped his fingers. Clatter. The crisp finger sound echoed in the air, and the dazzling white light bloomed. In an instant, everyone was submerged by this white light. Senju Chang, who had just arrived at the scene, punched out at the same time as Whitebeard, shattering the space and blocking the power of infinite gems. But because the power of the 6 infinite gems is too fierce, their shock fruit ability can only protect some people. The two chose to protect the members of the chat group, and the others can only look at their own destiny. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 179. The moment Senju arrived at Wakanda, he saw Thanos snap his fingers. He fell directly in front of Rimuru and Menyashi. Aura rolled Saitama, Yasuo, Kasugoka Shiyu, Kirajing and others in the distance, and shattered the void with a punch. Rumble. A large number of purple cracks suddenly appeared in the space, forming a spherical space, enclosing several group members. Senju Chang protects half of the group, and Whitebeard protects one group. The white light of infinite gem energy flooded the entire Marvel universe. After a long while, the white light gradually disappeared, and everyone's hearing and vision were restored. Rimuru took the opportunity to stretch his palm to Saitama and pressed it on his bald head, releasing the control of infinite gems. Sorry for being late, Senju Chang said lightly. In the face of this dilapidated status quo, there is no wave in my heart. With infinite gloves, no matter how much sacrifice, it can be resurrected. There is no need to worry at all. Ah, blanket? I have done? Is released control of Saitama, Asayu Yan asked. You were beaten so badly just now. Rimuru chuckled, and the picture just passed into Saitama's mind through the palm of his hand. Scenes flashed quickly in Saitama's eyes, from the moment he was controlled to the whole process of being released now. Saitama touched his head awkwardly. I didn't expect Mr. Manyashi and Mr. Tony to be so strong, but it's a pity that I forgot the bloody feeling at that time. After the incident is over, let's fight again. He clenched his fists and said passionately. No, I am afraid that my armor will need to be upgraded. I have already realized the problem in the previous battle. Tony dragged his tired body to his feet. Under such a long war, even with armor assistance, it is also difficult to support such a high-intensity battle. Tony had already calculated it, but Waz stepped back from the front line earlier than him. Mr. Immortal. Shiyu Shajichu saw Senju Chang and said with joy. You are finally here, hurry up. Get rid of that purple sweet potato. She pointed to Thanos in the distance, with a fierce appearance, quite the aura of a fox and a tiger. My battle with him is not over yet, and his life is up to me. Yasuo had a cold face and raised his knife forward. No, he will leave it to me, Rimuru hurriedly shouted. Don't grab it, I haven't experienced a bloody battle yet. Saitama stood in front of the two. The purpose of his participation in this mission is to be able to have a bloody battle. How can he give them such a good opportunity? Seeing the three of them vying for battle, Menyashi was naturally unwilling to show weakness, but found that his body was abnormally tired. In desperation, the drive he picked up was put away again. Menyashi knew that his limit was reached, and it was definitely caused by excessive consumption during the time he was under control. He is not like Saitama, who was still alive after playing for so long. Hulla. The old man wants to try this man's power too. Whitebeard walked up with a big knife behind him and laughed loudly. Okay, Papa Whitebeard is also coming to blend in. The members of the group didn't seem to put Thanos in their eyes, vying for the qualifications to fight here. But the surrounding atmosphere is very sad. After snapping his fingers, this area seemed a bit silent. There are many people around, but no one speaks. Panthers and others looked at their palms and body, and after taking a few deep breaths, they were blown into fly ash by a breeze. The American team and the Black Widow stood on opposite sides, looking at each other's disappearing body in shock. Finally found that he was gradually disappearing. How? Fu! Thor was about to speak, but was blown by a breeze, his body turned into dust on the spot. The same scene was staged in the Avengers and others at the same time. Those in the original work that were not turned into ashes were also turned into ashes under this snapping finger. The scene was full of silence and despair, and those who were alive were so scared that they could not speak at this moment. Looking at the dead partners around, my mind became blank. Thanos walked a few steps slowly and sat down on a piece of gravel. The Infinite Glove's full power has put him under a lot of pressure, and he feels very tired physically and mentally. Infinite gems cannot be used at will. Each infinite gem has extremely strong energy. With a little touch, there will be a huge amount of energy pouring into the body. There are very few people who can bear 6 infinite gems and release all their energy. Even Hulk has to abolish an arm. Click. The gravel was trampled into ashes, and Senju Chang walked up to Thanos and said calmly, "Hand over the infinite gloves and go home to farm. It will spare you your life." When Thanos heard this, he grinned and did not stand up. "Your defeat is set. Do you want to continue? You can't beat me?" He has 6 infinite gems, and now he is invincible. If an accident happens, he can still leave. The space teleportation under the infinite glove allows Thanos to instantly shuttle to any corner of the universe. I believe that no matter who it is, even those with space magic cannot catch up. "Sorry, you can't beat anyone in a head-on confrontation," Senju Chang said lightly. With the fall of his voice, the surging spiritual energy suppressed from all directions. The magic array appeared on the front, back and left of Thanos at the same time, and the magic arrays on the ground and above were connected to each other to form a magic cage. Yasuo, Whitebeard, and Saitama all surrounded at the same time. "This kind of magic can't restrain me." Thanos felt the invisible pressure formed by the aura, and his body seemed to weigh hundreds of millions of catties. With him as the center, the ground 100 meters outward began to sink at this moment. Even the rubble he was sitting on collapsed in an instant and fell into ashes. Boom! Thanos' infinite glove squeezed hard and opened the space to teleport without hesitation. The coercion of such aura made him realize that he might really not be able to beat the opponent. Who is this guy and why haven't you seen him before? And what is going on with this invisible gravity suppression? Thanos was calm on the surface, but panicked in his heart. But at this moment, Saitama and Whitebeard punched the space channel at the same time. Boom! In an instant, the space's transmission channel collapsed and shattered under this combined attack, splitting the diffuse purple void cracks. The power of Whitebeard's shock fruit and Saitama's serious punch exploded the void at the same time. Whether it is the beginning or the end of the space, it shatters directly at the moment of condensing. Yasuo carried a long knife, turned into a hurricane, and stepped on the waves. The sea turned into 10,000 swords and blades, gathered together, and slashed toward Thanos' neck. Pouch! With a muffled sound, Thanos' head instantly fluttered, splashing a purple bloodstain. "Not dead, he is behind you," Rimuru, who released the space magic, reminded. From his perspective, Thanos has become a number of incarnations, one of them, with the palm of his hand reaching the top of Yasuo's head. "Want to kill me? You can try," Yasuo's cold voice sounded. His aura changed in vain, as if he had become a sword god, and the blowing wind rose like a tornado. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 180 Call. There was a squally gust of wind whizzing around 100 miles away, strong wind swept, and hurricane blowing. The surviving agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were blown away by the strong wind. Fortunately, the badly injured Dr. Strange did not faint. He resisted the pain and released magic. A thin-colored magic thread was woven into a net in the air to catch all these people. If it weren't for Dr. Strange's action, these people would have been blown into the sky by the strong wind. Boom! The violent tornado rose from Yasuo's body, as if scrolling the whole world. Thanos Tower's tall figure was suddenly blown up by the violent wind uncontrollably, and the moment he was floating, a black shadow flashed past him. Yasuo stepped on the whirlwind, leapt to Thanos' side, and quickly slashed out with a long knife in his hand. The gust of wind slashed, faced the stormy waves. He gave a violent shout, and there were blue water waves rippling on the blade, clattering, like a raging wave. Wow! The combination of wind and water makes the waves formed by the sword chi become particularly terrifying. Boom! 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 Thanos is not a living target for Mermaid. While Yasuo was swinging his long knife, he also used the power of the infinite glove to shine brightly, colliding with each other one after another. The speed of the two was so fast that they dragged out the afterimages, their fists and the blades collided, wiping out several starlight fires. Yasuo's speed is getting more and more violent, and the speed is rising steadily. The Thanos in front of him is actually just one of the clones. The moment he was cut to his head, he used the power of the infinite glove to separate several clones. Each clone is driven by the energy of an infinite gem. Therefore, in the face of Yasuo's faster and faster speed, Thanos gradually became somewhat unable to resist. An infinite gem drives a pseudo-infinite glove power, which is really limited. Shit. The blood stains on Thanos gradually increased, and the two collided in the air. The moment the airwave exploded, it was gathered into a hurricane of sword energy, causing sharp blade damage to Thanos again. The fighting between the two sides became more intense, and in just a few breaths, they had been fighting for nearly 8,000 rounds. Yasuo used his experience in the world of one punch to the fullest in this mission, even surpassing the limit. Boom. With a loud noise, Thanos' body fell from the sky, exploding a deep pit, and smoke and dust overflowed. Yasuo's figure followed closely, and Zangang flashed out again. Kang. The white light flashed. Yasuo's speed was so fast that it was blurred, and the moment he slashed, he was drawn behind Thanos. Cut ahead. The wind blew past his face, forming a Uzumaki wave under his feet. He slowly retracted the long knife into its scabbard with a click. Thanos' body shattered into pieces on the spot. If you want to die, it's easy. Yasuo's indifferent voice sounded, and the members of the chat group were dumbfounded. The last sentence of making up the sword is really handsome to many people in the group. Especially Tanjiro, who also uses a sword, chose to download the Hayate sword on the spot. Impulsive consumption. Boom. From the moment the fighting broke out on Yasuo's side. The Battle of Whitebeard, Saitama, and Rimuru also started. The fighting style between Whitebeard and Saitama was extremely brutal and rude. One holds a big knife and blasts the void with the shock fruit ability. The nearby area turned into a dark purple. It was an energy rift from the void. Thanos' clone was slashed by Whitebeard's knife, causing severe pain and bleeding all over the body. The broad knife swept across, directly harvesting Thanos' head. Pouch. A purple line of blood rolled from his head on the ground. Bang! At this time, a strong dust wave swept past Whitebeard, and the terrifying wind wave blew the robe and hunted. Saitama hit Thanos' head with a punch, and a blood hole was punched in his chest. He is also a clone of Thanos. Without all the power of gems, he is not a Saitama opponent at all. Although some rounds were played, in the end it ended in a disastrous defeat like the previous two. On Rimru's side, compared to Thanos and Saitama's battle, he appears to be much gentler here, and the methods are very simple and capable. After the universal silk binds Thanos, it releases the icy magic envelope, turning Thanos into an ice sculpture. With a single blow, the ice sculpture shattered on the spot, and Thanos' clone also rotted into several pieces. On Senju Chang's side, facing Thanos' body, the infinite glove is powered by two infinite gems. They are reality gems and time gems. The surrounding clones are transformed by the power of reality gems and time gems, true and false, and the combination of reality and reality. It can be said that these clones are illusions, or they can be said to be Thanos from different points in time. For example, 1 minute later, or 1 hour ago. At this moment, Thanos' body was panting. The surrounding scene continued to shatter and reorganize, and with the death of the other clones, one gem after another gradually returned to its place. The 6 infinite gems are assembled again to form a complete infinite glove. But at this moment Thanos did not dare to make any aggressive advances. In the brief encounter with the opponent just now, Thanos has actually passed death several times. He couldn't see the opponent's shot at all. Either he was beaten to the heart with a punch in vain, or he was cut in the waist by the opponent with a sword, and his body was divided into 2 halves. If Thanos didn't react fast enough, before his consciousness disappeared, he used the gem of time to reverse time and space. Thanos at this moment is already cold. Looking at Senju Chang again, it seems as if he has been standing in the same place from the start, and has never moved. There was no wave of waves in his eyes, always calm and calm. It seems that the attack that killed Thanos just now was just like his casual blow. Is this guy a monster? Thanos was embarrassed in his heart. He can be 100% sure that this person is definitely not a creature on this planet. Not even the existence of this universe. How could there be such a monster in the universe, with weird methods, powerful fighting power, and mysterious ability? Will you continue to struggle? If so, just do it. I don't have time to waste with you. Senju Chang retracted the white sword day in his hand into the system space, faintly glanced at Thanos with his stiff face. Thanos, who had already snapped his fingers once, now has no ability to do a second time. Unless he is given enough time to recover. This kind of recovery time cannot be achieved by the power of time gems alone. The ability to continue to use the power of infinite gems at the moment is enough to prove how powerful Thanos' physical power is. My big plan was finally completed with great difficulty. For this plan, I even pushed my daughter down. Now you want me to give you the gloves. Thanos took a deep breath, his body undulated slightly, and his breathing became a little heavy. He paid too much for today's success. Obviously they have succeeded, but the result is going to change from success to failure. How does this make him willing? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 181. Thanos' face gradually became ferocious, and his eyes showed fierce light. The infinite glove will not be given to you, even if I die, it won't let you ruin my plan. The momentum on his body began to skyrocket, and the tension in his heart disappeared at this moment. What about death? As long as his plan is completed, then everything is worth it. Thanos is also a very charming villain. The reason why he wants to eliminate half of the creatures in the universe is entirely for the universe to have more living space. It can be said that the starting point for Thanos to destroy the creatures is to create better living conditions for the creatures in the entire universe. It's just that his approach is too extreme. Lack of emotional considerations between creatures. Thanos is a ruthless character. In the original book, he killed half of the creatures in the universe and went home to farm. At the same time, in order to prevent the creature from being resurrected, he snapped his fingers and destroyed the infinite gem. Boom. 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 Thanos began to rush towards Senju Chang, his heavy body stomping on the ground and making a muffled noise. His whole body was shrouded in 6 colors of light, the power of creation that destroys the sky and the earth. He doesn't know whether he wants to destroy everything in front of him or create everything in the world. Thanos' body gradually became huge in this rush. When he came to Senju Chang, his body had swelled to a height of 100 feet. It is like a god of 100 feet Zhang who wants to destroy this planet with a punch and bombardment with the power of creation. The space is shattered, and the traces of the purple void are like cobwebs. The atmosphere and clouds are all in an instant, being dispelled by the creation energy, and the bright light is like the power to open up the world. Boom! Thanos smashed the aura shield with a punch, and the divine light floated in the air, turning into a rune of the sky law. The Zetian fist is like a Bili mountain suppressed, as if to crush Senju Chang to dust on the spot. It seems that you have never understood that I just need the creative power of infinite gloves, not the power of destruction. Senju sneered, without fear. The Golden Emperor burning Tianyan wrapped the whole body, the golden light curse turned into a star flowing and spinning, and armament Haki covered his fist. The chi and blood skyrocketed and turned into a golden idol, and the 2 major cultivation systems resonated with the holy voice of the great Tao. Behind it suddenly appeared the world of chaos. This is the chaotic vision of the ancient sacrament. Boom! One big and one small fist collided, exploding the ripples of runes in the sky, and the deep purple void abyss spreading to thousands of meters. Everyone around was stunned by this earth-shaking power. Even the members of the 10,000 Worlds chat group couldn't bear such a shock of energy, and all the members flew out. Rimuru used large-scale space magic to teleport everyone in the vicinity hundreds of miles away. Looking from a distance, you can still see the creepy picture. Thanos' huge body was like a sky high, and he bombarded the ground with punch after punch. The bombardment of every punch creates a variety of scenes. The prosperous city, the oasis of birds and flowers, the pavilion where fairies and gods talk, the isle where people come and go. But with another punch, these scenes will collapse and collapse. The city has become a barren and abandoned city, the oasis has been replaced by the desert, the pavilion has turned into dust. And the destroyer of these grand scenes is Senju Chang with full firepower. The site of all the power of creation collapsed with one punch, and his whole body burst into flames. Like a cauldron for smelting the world, the golden flames are burning. Boom! With another punch, the light of the power of creation became distorted. The corners of Thanos' mouth were bleeding, and his internal organs were shaking. The arm wearing the infinite glove was scorched by the power of the infinite gem at this moment. The heart position was filled with purple bloodlines, and Thanos was almost reaching its limit. But Senju Chang is still fierce, and the bombardment of each punch is not weakened, and even more powerful. Boom 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 boom. Within a few breaths, the two collided hundreds of punches again. Thanos' infinite gloves had been destroyed by nearly half, revealing the charred palm inside. Senju's long life stepped obliquely, his whole body condensed a golden giant fist phantom, his speed and strength reached the apex, and he punched Thanos in front of his chest. Rumble. In an instant, the scene created by the power of creation shattered, and the deafening sound resounded through the sky. The defense formed by the power of infinite gems also turned into fragments in the sky at this moment, reflecting the colorful light. The 100-jong tall Thanos was blasted by Senju Chang's punch on the spot, and rushed into space at a speed visible to the naked eye. Senju Chang Tianan's cultivation base was released without reservation, and the entire solar system produced a humming sound. Scrolling the power of heaven and earth, the Thanos flying across the space suddenly pulled back. Boom! Thanos fell heavily into the ground, exploding a huge pit. The earth trembled and the mountains broke apart, as if the whole earth had been skewed slightly. The infinite gloves in Thanos' hands shattered directly, and the 6 infinite gems slid to the ground with a snapping sound. Why, it's a waste of my time. Senju Chang rolls up infinite gems with aura and collects them into the system space. The destructive power of the infinite gloves has no effect on Senju. His casual blow can destroy the world. The only thing worth noting is the creative power of infinite gloves. Creation is something Senju cannot do at present. Only the creative power of the infinite gloves can resurrect the half of the dead in the universe. He walked to the dying Thanos and snapped his fingers. A wisp of Golden Emperor burning Tianyan fell on his body, and the golden flame burned Dioba's whole body, and the severe pain hit his soul. But Thanos was stunned without yelling out, so he was burned alive into black ashes. A generation of hegemons, even if they die tragically, is unwilling to scream. This last stubbornness also made Senju Chang look at him a little bit more. In the next life, stop doing such extreme behaviors and be a sentimental creature, Senju Chang said softly. He turned around and flew towards Tony and others. A war about the universe has finally come to an end. All members of the 10,000 Worlds chat group showed admiration and were deeply moved. During the battle between Senju and Thanos, Tony has told them the cause of everything. All the plans and causes of Thanos came from the intelligence of Thanos. Gojo Satoru. It's really embarrassing. BB Dong. Thanos' ambition is also for the universe, but the approach is not right. Zhang Jiwei. Yes, killing half of the living creatures is simply a cure for the symptoms and not the root cause. At the same time, it will also cause countless living creatures to suffer the pain of losing their loved ones. Izumi Sagiri. Although half dead now, after countless years, the universe will also burst into life. Seeds. Wouldn't it be enough to snap your fingers again? Izumi Sagiri. Senju Chang. Wrong, with Thanos' character, he will definitely destroy all infinite gems in the near future, so there is no chance of extinction of living beings a second time. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 182 Tony Stark. Mr. Immortal said this. I agree very much, Thanos is like this. Beatrice. Come on, who doesn't know that you are an immortal blower? You think what Mr. Immortal says makes sense. Ainzel Christine. Huh? Does Miss Beatrice disagree with Mr. Immortal's words? Beatrice raised her eyebrows and immediately responded, of course not. Edward Newgate. The battle scene just now was really breathtaking. Yifan. The power of infinite gloves can actually compete with Master, it is incredible. Senju Chang. That is because Thanos himself is physically strong, so he can withstand the backlash of infinite gems. As an ordinary person, let alone the subsequent battle, just snap his fingers and kill him. Zhang Jiwei. Your own strength is the most powerful. Even if you rely on foreign objects, you need to be able to withstand it. True Horn Dagu. My own power. My power comes from the Giant of Light. Do I also choose to cultivate my own power? Zhang Jiwei. Ha 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 ha, little friend, you are in a misunderstanding. Don't you want to learn the Golden Light Curse? This thing is not only capable of charging your transformation state. A word to awaken the dreamer. Dagu watched Senju's longevity battle just now, and his whole person was in a puzzle. After adding a few words from everyone, I have a strong yearning for being strong in my heart. But his power had to become Tiga again, and he lost himself accidentally. After Zhang Jiwei mentioned this, he came to his senses. The Golden Light Curse he wants to change is not purely a power bank. The Golden Light Curse itself is a powerful force. Tanjiro Kamen. This battle in Mr. Tony's world is a bit tragic and the surroundings are in ruins. Yun Yun. Didn't Mr. Immortal get all the infinite gems, just a snap of your fingers? Tony Stark. The premise is to integrate these 6 powers, but it is not a big problem. I can create an infinite glove. Kira Jiying. It's finally over. I thought I couldn't work here anymore. Polygonum Cuspidatum Yuhito. Mr. Kira really has enough paddling. He has been wretched all the time and didn't do anything. Gojo Satoru. Ha ha ha. Indeed, Kira is also very strong. Maybe he can hit Thanos with a punch, and he can kill the opponent directly. Kira Jiying. Sorry, I didn't take the task, so I am not obliged to help. Kira Jiying. Of course, if Mr. Immortal speaks, I will definitely help. Yifan. As expected of an office worker, Tony Stark's armor squirmed like a thin thread, shrinking into a t-shirt. He flexed his arms a few times and said seriously to Senju Chang. Mr. Immortal, I will help you make infinite gloves now. Do you want to rest here for a few days? Yes, I will create infinite gloves with you. Senju Chang nodded. With his current knowledge, it is not a problem to help create infinite gloves. It is nothing more than to divert the energies of the 6 infinite gemstones simultaneously, thereby colliding the power of creation. Others go back and settle the rewards first. Of course, if you want to stay here for a while, you can. Senju Chang smiled at the other group members, but if you don't go back, the chat group will not settle the reward. Hearing this, Rimuru turned Pest immediately shouted, I want to play for a few more days, and then I will go back. After finally coming into this world, how can I go back so easily? It must be played around again. Although he lived in the city in his previous life, he did not have the money to travel the world. Now that Tony is here, he can travel around the world directly by private jet. Moreover, his own requirements for points are not good, it is completely dispensable. In that case, I will retreat first, and leave Waz. Men Yashi waved his hand, and immediately activated the traverse function. Waz bowed slightly to everyone, smiled and walked into the transmission channel. Goo la 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 la. The mission is over, the old man will go back to see his sons, this battle is really exhausting. Whitebeard laughed, and also chose to leave. I want to go to the world of more powerful people to experience, and I hope Mr. Immortal will allow it. Yasuo did not choose to leave, he walked towards Senju Chang and said solemnly. The world of One Punch Man can no longer satisfy him. Apart from Saitama's strength, no one is his opponent. But Hikaru and Saitama didn't make any progress at all. Because Saitama can't guide at all, he only knows every second. For Yasuo, such a battle did not improve. Senju Chang touched his chin and said, if you still want to improve your strength, only Yifan's world is suitable for you at the moment, but the strong people there are very scary, are you sure? There are countless strong people in the world, which is very suitable for experiencing and becoming stronger. But the shortcoming is that there are too many powerhouses, if Yasuo's current strength passes. It's usually better. Once in the fight for opportunity, Yasuo will be very dangerous if he encounters those great abilities. I'm going. Please give me a chance, Mr. Immortal, Yasuo said with a stern face without fear. The way of the strong, without fear of death, alright, I will send you to the weaker East Desolation first. If you encounter a difficult enemy that can't be solved, go to my apprentice Yifan. Senju Chang waved his hand and the passage through the passage suddenly appeared. After Yasuo thanked him, he stepped in. They're all gone, didn't they say that they will study after the end? And where did Yasuo go? Saitama hurried over from a distance, biting the bread. Obviously, Saitama didn't know where to go to eat just now, so he came back now. Yasuo went to Yifan's world. What are your plans? Senju Chang said lightly. I went to Yifan's world, then I want to see it too. I remember that there are many strong people in his world, and Yifan is also very strong. I'm going to find them to learn from them. Saitama looked excited. Road. Senju Chang's mouth twitched slightly, and he did not refuse, and once again opened the space channel to the world of obscurity. After sending another one away, only Shajichu Shiyu was left. Don't ask me, I also want to stay. After helping you make infinite gloves, I will study the drive with Mr. Tony by the way. Shajichu Shiyu waved her small hand, indicating that she would not go back for the time being. Making infinite gloves is the second most important thing. I want to study more about Tony's black technology. Among the chat group members in the Marvel world, there are only 3 people left. Senju Chang, Kasugoka Shiyu, and Rimuru. Tony directly arranged around the world travel schedule for Rimuru. The absolute top service, food, lodging and clothing are the most expensive in the local area. Senju Chang, Kasumigoka Shiyu, and Tony Starrk started research on the infinite gloves at the temporary base. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 183 Temporary Experiment. Senju Chang, Tony Starrk, and Kasugoka Shiyu gathered around a table. A mechanical glove is placed in the center of the table. Shajichu Shiyu held an instrument in his hand and pressed a few lightly on the mechanical glove, and the matte mechanical glove immediately radiated brilliance. The exquisite mechanical lines, coupled with neon lights, look quite a combination of technology and retro. She took off the square frame glasses on the bridge of her nose, and Yusho shook off her long, black hair. The final activation is complete. Now try the setting of infinite gemstones? Shajichu Shiyu raised her head and asked. Yes, there should be no problem this time. Senju Chang nodded in agreement. 6 infinite gems were taken out of the system space and suspended to mid-air. In the previous few experiments, the infinite gloves created were all destroyed. Starting from the setting of the second infinite gem, the workload increased dramatically, and the various complicated values made the scalp numb. Don't look at it as a simple glove, in fact, there are so many exquisites inside. The position of the infinite gems, the distance between them, the size of the holes, the order of the inlays, etc., are all obtained by the 3 people burning brain cells. Even the curve of the glove is finally formed after a lot of data and experimentation. It has been bombed more than 10 times before, if it hadn't been for Senju Chang to guard it with aura. This temporary laboratory is no longer needed. The slight energy impact of 6 infinite gems is enough to destroy a small city. Ding! Ding! 2 infinite gems were set on the glove instantly, without a trace of obstruction or fluctuation. The following 3 pieces were mounted in succession, and they were stable as expected, without any abnormalities. When the infinite gems were inlaid at the last moment, Tony and Kasunuka both held their breath. A picture of an energy storm swept across even appeared in his mind. Clatter. At the last moment, the infinite gems were set in. Surprisingly, there was no abnormality. The 3 of them breathed a sigh of relief at the same time, but luckily they succeeded. The infinite glove has finally been developed, Senju Chang said with some joy in his heart. If it fails again, they will have to redevelopment again. The process is actually quite maddening. Mr. Immortal, do you want to use the infinite gloves yourself? Tony asked. Senju Chang gave him a Byakugan. I don't need it, don't you use it, don't worry, the power of 6 infinite gems is not a threat to me. Thanos used the infinite gloves to be blasted by him, so would he still be afraid of the backlash of the infinite gloves? He directly picked up the mechanical glove and put it on his hand. In an instant, surging energy poured into the limbs from the palm of his hand. The 6 kinds of energy particles impact vertically and horizontally in the meridians, and there is a burning sensation, which makes Senju Changsheng's body temperature rise slightly. How do you feel? Shajiju Shiyu asked curiously. When Thanos got the infinite gloves earlier, his expression seemed to have been strongly corroded. But when it comes to Senju Changsheng, why does it look so peaceful? It was still that handsome face, with a calm expression. Is this the gap between Mr. Immortal and Thanos? It's okay. There's a rippling heat in the body, which is very unstable. Senju Changsheng's face was flat, and immediately raised his right hand without any hesitation. Clatter. The crisp snapping sound suddenly sounded, and the sound resounded across the sky. Without waiting for Tony and others to react, the creation divine light once again flooded the universe. Hum. The tinnitus was covered, and the white light pierced people's eyes with pain. Senju Changsheng only feels that he has entered a mysterious space, and the consciousness in his mind can manipulate all things in this universe. It feels very similar to opening the true eyes of the evil king. So he started to tamper with the world with ease, and half of the disappeared creatures in the universe were all resurrected. At the same time, he also helped the earth to be green by the way. Wakanda turned into ruins like time reverses, and the destroyed buildings automatically rise and rebuild. A beautiful paradise is once again presented. Even the destroyed places in the city are being reorganized at this moment. In the end, the whole earth was completely new, not only looked like it was before Thanos' invasion. At the same time, the vegetation has become more and greener, and the air has become extremely fresh. Obviously in the bustling city center, but the air I breathe is like being in a tropical rainforest. The light of creation gradually dissipated, and all the dead creatures were resurrected. The heroes of the Avengers who were resurrected were a little dazed and at a loss. Senju Changsheng glanced faintly at the mechanical gloves, which had been exploded into mechanical debris at the moment. The 6 infinite gems fell again and clicked on the table. His arms are still as smooth as jade, without a trace of trauma. Is this a success? Tony Stark looked at the scraps of gloves and asked unsurely. Okay, everything has been resolved, and I should go back. Senju Changsheng shook his numb arm, and the blood circulated again and returned to normal. With a fingerhook, the spiritual energy scrolled 6 infinite gems to float, and they were collected into the system space. So urgent? Tony Stark said. Yeah, there are some things in my ninja world. I originally planned to stay there. I didn't expect so many things happened in the major worlds during this period of time. Senju Changsheng sighed, waved goodbye to the two, and then flew out. Emilia is still in Tokyo, but you can't forget. Hokage world. On Turtle Island, where no one was active in the past, hundreds of thousands of human forces have gathered at this moment. The ninja army and Akatsuki have launched a decisive battle involving humankind across the globe. The 5 ninja villages unite and arrange 5 combat troops in disorder. A medical logistics force, a sensory and detection force, an intelligence force. On Akatsuki's side, there were 100,000 white Zetsu soldiers, fighting for their lives without fear of death. Yakushi Kabuto, who had been hidden for so many years, finally appeared. He threatened to save Lord Orochimaru, and used impure world reincarnation to summon the dead powerful men in the major shinobu villages. The most ferocious of them are Uchiha Madara, Senju Hashirama, and Senju Tobirama. The 3 beasts all come from Konoha, but all 3 beasts have the seal to release the control of impure world reincarnation. Therefore, Hashirama and Tobirama became the help of the ninja army. And Madara is leading the ***, dancing on the battlefield. Fighting him are Itachi and Shisui, both of the Uchiha family. Boom. Located at the center of the battlefield, the 2 figures collided in a staggered manner, causing the mountains and rivers to collapse and the earth to tremble. It is Uchiha Obito in Sage of 6 Paths mode, and Konoha's second patron Saint Poros. The 9-headed beast was successfully collected by Obito and integrated into his body to build his current 6 Paths level. I thought it could sweep everything, but never expected that there is such a terrifying existence in Konoha Village. It was actually able to block his truth-seeking ball attack. What about fucking? What the hell is this one-eyed weirdo? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 184 The Fourth Ninja World War Uchiha Obito waved the tin stick formed by the truth-seeking ball, and several truth-seeking balls shot out from behind, hitting Poros' shield frontally. Boom boom boom. The truth-seeking ball hits the shield, like an elastic sphere, bounces to the sides, blasting through nearby rocks. What the hell is this guy's shield? Obito's face was gloomy, and the tin rod was a little on the ground. Hum. The natural energy between the heaven and the earth condenses and forms sage art. The cosmic energy of Poros exploded, and the tortoise-shell shield was thrown out, like a defensive magic weapon, blocking all sage art. He pursued Obito, the deep purple cosmic energy burst out of his body, and the speed suddenly increased. The flash of fist flickered and blasted towards Obito. Truth-seeking balls stood in front of Obito, but shattered like tiles. Poros came fiercely, like a tiger descending the mountain, unstoppable. The cosmic energy is no worse than the natural energy. How can the truth-seeking ball be able to block the punch of the cosmic energy? Boom. Obito was knocked into the air by his fist, and his body smashed through several peaks one after another. He stared at Poros, who was teleporting in front of him. His pupils suddenly shrank, and immediately after the opponent's fist hit his face. Boom! Obito's body smashed a large hole in the ground, and the ground broke apart like a cobweb, and smoke swept through it. Without any hesitation, he felt the manic energy in front of him and dodged in a hurry. Boom! When his head deflected, Poros had already stepped on the soles of his feet, exploding with power that shook the sky and the earth. Sage Art Fire Style Flurry! Obito, who was shocked, shouted again. The space was suddenly distorted, and a flame dragon spurted from Obito's mouth. The dragon spins and twists in the air, like a vortex surrounding Poros, trapping him in all directions. Hitomi Kamui. Add Sage Art Fire Style. Wow! Suddenly, Poros, who was besieged by the fire dragon, suddenly spit out the turbulent sea, and the waves fluttered. Laugh, the fire and water blend together, exuding hot steam to cover the line of sight, and the mist is amiable. Two figures suddenly flew out from inside, one after another. Fire-style Sage Art exploded in the air, and the cosmic energy formed a laser cannon fire. Mountains and rivers collapsed, the earth shattered, and dozens of potholes were shook out with terrifying energy. Boom 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 boom. In an instant, the two had already collided hundreds of times. The battle scene completely surpassing human beings, the lacing energy light cannon, like the boundless starlight blooming across the universe. Damn! Is this guy the real immortal god? The so-called Senju gods are just a cover? The tin rod formed by the truth-seeking ball in Obito's hand was beaten to pieces by Poros, and the scars on his body were constantly moving and repairing. Even if you have superb healing power, you can't be such a wave of magic. The immortal is not really immortal. If one is not careful, he will still be killed by the opponent. Especially the cosmic energy of Poros, arbitrarily running around in Obito's body, made the wound healed very slowly. You're an immortal god. I didn't expect it. The guardian of Konoha is actually a monster. Is this the fallen Konoha? Obito sneered. Konoha, the head of the dignified shinobu village, is guarded by monsters, which is really ridiculous. Obito once again called Sage Art to bombard, and at the same time controlled 10 truth-seeking balls into sharp spikes. When Poros used tortoise shields to block one after another, and cosmic energy penetrated the shields and turned into laser waves. The speed was too fast to dodge, and half of Obito's body was directly penetrated by the light wave, bloody, and the scene was terrible. I don't understand what you are talking about, but the person you want to hurt Konoha is my enemy. Poros could not understand Obito's muttering. He didn't want to understand either, he would be done anyway. Poros rushed past like a bolt of lightning, like a god descending to the earth, making Obito unable to resist. Boom! Obito flew out like a prawn, and after rolling a few times on the ground, he lay on the ground and gasped for breath. He coughed up blood, and the injury on his body Yu Joe energy wanted to heal. He. It's a waste, it seems that I am coming. At this moment, a ghastly voice rang in Obito's ear. While Obito was weak, Black Zetsu went directly into Obito's body, covering half of his body. Come and lay down your life for Madara-sama. Black Zetsu controlled Obito's body, and his hands began to seal. You. What are you doing, Black Zetsu? Obito shook his hands, fighting hard. But one by one the seals were gradually formed, and he couldn't stop Black Zetsu's control at all. Round revolving heaven technique, Black Zetsu grinned and snorted softly. On the other side, Madara resurrected in the form of impure world reincarnation. He is controlling Susanoo, who is in a fierce confrontation with Itachi and Shisui of the same race. The Susanoo of the three people is completely in shape, like three giant spirit gods descending to the world, fighting here. When the immortals fight, mortals suffer, and one person is barren in a radius of 100 miles. Anyone who was nearby died on the spot in the aftermath of the clash between the three. Boom! Shisui and Itachi were shocked backwards by Madara at the same time, and their hearts were horrified to the extreme. Both of them are completely Susanoo, but they couldn't beat each other under their combined efforts. The legendary Uchiha Madara really is not worthy of a name. Itachi, my eyes can hardly bear it. Shisui's Susanoo became a little hollow. At the center of Susanoo, he couldn't help rubbing his eyes. The scene in front of him became more and more blurred. You go back first, I'll block him, there will be nothing wrong with my eyes, Itachi said lightly with his face still cold. After this time of confrontation, Itachi finally learned that. It turns out that if Mangekyo is used too much, it will be blinded. Fortunately, he has the power of immortality and longevity, and he can repair his eyes every time, but Shisui can't. When you look back, you have to ask Master for help to treat Shisui's eyes. Shisui disappeared from Susanoo. The color on his pupils looked a little gray, he did not stay here, and ran directly to the Ninja United Army. It's ridiculous to want to fight against me alone. Uchiha Madara smiled contemptuously and said, Junior, for your talent, follow me. The descendants who can turn on Susanoo are somewhat beyond his expectations, and these talents are qualified to become his followers. I have followed Master, you are too far behind him, Itachi replied coldly. Boom. The two of them were completely body. Susanoo rose into the air at the same time, colliding continuously in the air. The scarlet Susanoo rode on the golden idol and rushed towards the blue Susanoo in the sky. Bachichang Guyu. Madara controlled Susanoo and threw out a few 100-meter wide dark blue gouge jade, driving the huge chakra energy to spin. The 10-fist sword slashed out, colliding with the spinning Guyu with a deafening sound. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 185. The battle between Itachi and Madara raised a radius of 100 miles to the ground. The two criss-crossed on the sunken ground. Fire style. The fire is gone. Boom. A fireball the size of a meteorite suddenly spit out from blue Susanoo's mouth. The scorching heat caused the earth to burn into magma. Amaterasu. Facing this fiery fireball, Itachi activated the Mangekyo Sharingan ability on the spot, and the black fire of Amaterasu actually extinguished the fierce fire and ignited it. When the fireball approached Itachi, it turned into black smoke and dissipated on the spot. Suddenly, Uchiha Madara burst through the black smoke and came to Itachi. The chakra knife in his hand slashed down with a strong wind. Boom. Ferret's eyes moved slightly, and he drew out his 10-fist sword to fight against it. The clanging sounded one after another, and the sword light flickered. With every collision, a chakra storm can be set off, and the earth shatters inch by inch. Shit. The 10-fist sword swept across Madara's Susanoo's waist, and chakra energy sputtered like a liquid. Madara is also a ruthless person, giving up defense on the spot, and two chakra knives slashed with strong wind. Pouch. Crimson Susanoo's two arms were broken on the spot by Madara. The overflowing energy forced the two of them to untie Susanoo at the same time, falling from the sky to the ground. Since Madara is in the state of impure world reincarnation, it will not die, and endless chakra. So at the moment he landed, he stabilized his figure and ran towards Uchiha Itachi again. Idols in prison. Uchiha Itachi snorted softly, and his blood turned into golden idols to suppress. Boom. 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 The sound of fists and feet was continuous. During the fight, fire style and water style collided with each other, and a lot of water mist was evaporated. The physical skills of the two were both the pinnacle of the ninja world, and they were inextricably fought. Ha 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 ha, I didn't expect you to dance with me, but I underestimated you. Boom. In Madara's laughter, the two of them bumped into each other's fists and shook in all directions. He thought that no one would be able to compete with him in future generations, but he did not expect that not only such an existence appeared, but also his Uchiha family. It's really exciting. Sure enough, the Uchiha family is the most powerful family. Go to the Senju family. The passage of time will tell the world which family is the most powerful existence. Madara was very excited and ecstatic, and even aroused her love for talent. The two shook back at the same time, and Itachi's face was still cold. If the teacher is here, you won't have a chance to make a move. Teacher? Who is your teacher? Madara grinned. Konoha is immortal god. If he comes, you must know, Itachi replied. He remembers that when his teacher was founded by Konoha, he already existed in this world, so Uchiha Madara must know him. It's just that it's not easy to call the teacher's name directly, so he didn't go into details. Cut. Immortal gods. What is that? In the age of my Uchiha Madara, no one dared to call it a god. Madara curled her lips, thinking that the other's teacher was just a self-proclaimed arrogant person. Laugh. At this moment, Madara's body began to heat up, the cracks on her face slowly healed, and the layers of dead skin fell off. He glanced at his hands in a daze, and immediately showed ecstasy. This is the feature of being resurrected by the revolving heaven technique. I'm back, that's how it feels, ha 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 ha. Madara laughed excitedly, her face twisted, her mouth wide open. The smile of the classic Uchiha family is presented. The face of Itachi in the distance suddenly became dignified. Unexpectedly, Madara would be resurrected with this slap. Now it's hard to do. Master Madara, I brought your eyes here. Black Zetsu rose suddenly from the ground, his hands as black as ink, holding two collection Rinnegan, and handing them respectfully. Madara smiled and took two Rinnegans, which were easily installed in his eye sockets like toys. There are a lot of black circle patterns on the white of the lavender eyes, which looks a little strange. But the moment Rinnegan put it on, Madara's aura suddenly changed, and a huge amount of chakra burst out of the bank and swept through. The face on his chest has also become more solid, and the lines on the corner of the fairy's eyes have crossed. This is Hashirama's transplanted cells, which not only awakens his eternal Mangekyo to Rinnegan, but also gains the power of wood style and sage mode. Ha 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 ha. Uchiha Madara is back again. Madara's eyes condensed, and chakra surged in her body. Wood style wood dragon technique. Rumble. A huge wooden dragon rose from the ground and swept toward Uchiha Itachi with fierce power. Hyoshu Amaterasu. Mangekyo Sharingan turned, the fire of Amaterasu ignited the wooden dragon, and the roar dissipated in the tumbling and flapping. Itachi easily diffuses the opponent's wooden dragon and rushes towards Uchiha Madara without hesitation. The chi and blood surging throughout the body turned into a golden idol, and the earth trembled at this moment, as if a giant elephant was galloping here. I don't have time to waste with you. Madara sneered. He who owns Rinnegan is completely different from his previous strength. Snapped. Seeing his hands clasped for 11 beats, the gravitational force suddenly appeared. The gravel within a radius of several tens of miles all rose up at this moment, and the endless gravitational force lifted the body of Itachi and pulled it to the sky to seal it. The huge rock and gravel were submerged, forming a round sphere suspended in the air. Planetary devastation. But this planetary devastation is not stable and is shaking sharply. Obviously, Uchiha Itachi, trapped inside, is struggling to resist. Madara ignored Obito too much, locked in Obito's direction, and rushed out at a speed that was difficult to capture. Within a moment, Madara came to the dying Obito. His appearance also attracted the attention of the ninja army. As that guy, Kakashi gasped in the distance watching the game. It's Uchiha Madara, Sarutobi Hiruzen said solemnly. Damn, Madara has been resurrected as expected, why hasn't he come back yet? Tsunade's teeth bit her red lips, anxious expression on her delicate face. Why don't we go, Sasuke? Naruto fisted, eager to try, but was stopped by Sasuke on the side. Leave it to Mr. Poros, we can do our job well. Sasuke said blankly. Now that Poros is there, just follow the original plan. If you rush to help indiscriminately, you are just adding to the chaos. Good job, but it's Black Zetsu's credit. Thank you for collecting the tail beasts for me. Uchiha Madara grinned, and the technique seal closed, 6 paths 10 tails. Sneer. 10 tails, sealed in Obito's body, was forcibly removed by Madara. Then he poured into Madara's back, and the vast 10 tails penetrated like a large amount of pink flesh. The scene was terrifying. From start to finish, Madara was expressionless, her willpower was so firm that she admired her. Boom. Natural energy burst out from his body, and with the immersion of 10 tails, Madara's power became stronger. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 186. Absolutely invincible under everyone's shocked gaze. Madara stood in the ruins, absorbed the entire 10 tails, and began to be enveloped in white light. The pure white fairy robes were condensed on him, and 10 black truth-seeking balls were suspended and formed behind him. The natural energy in a radius of thousands of miles swept into Uchiha Madara's body. 6 paths level. Uchiha Madara has become the formation of Sage of 6 paths, which is more terrifying and mighty than the formation when Obito achieved 6 paths. Both are 6 paths level, but it is also a world of difference. Obviously, Madara's strength completely surpasses Obito. Just the last step, you can start infinite Tsukuyomi. Madara turned from black hair to white hair, and there was a scarlet reincarnation on her forehead Sharingan. Also known as Rinnegan, he grinned, and the joy of victory surged in his heart. Poros frowned, just as he was about to go forward and beat the pretending guy. His shoulder was held in vain, and a voice came from the side. Sorry guys, I'm late again, ha ha ha. This familiar voice made all Konoha shinobi happy at the same time. Because the person who came is not someone else, it is Konoha's immortal Mr. Senju Chang. He paced forward, and the transmission channel behind him quietly closed. Because of too many things, I came back a bit late. After all, the time flow in the ninja world was too fast, and Senju did not predict the time. After sending Emilia back to Otherworld, she hurried back. Mr. Immortal. You finally came back. I'm very sorry that it caused this situation, Poros said with guilt. Senju trusted him and brought him here, and even gave him the task of protecting Konoha. In the end, it also caused this kind of broken situation in front of us, which is really ashamed of Mr. Immortal's cultivation. It's okay, it can end. Senju Chang glanced at Obito lightly, and walked to him casually. I can resurrect Nohara Lin, but there is one condition. When I heard the words Nohara Lin, Obito, who was dying, resisted his weakness and looked up. He has done so much, nothing more than trying to create a world with Nohara Lin. For a girl, he is willing to be an enemy of the world. Senju Chang didn't know how to evaluate him, but saving Rin Nohara was very simple for him. Obito's infatuation touched Senju Chang's heart. Seeing Obito's questioning and perplexed eyes, Senju Chang didn't talk nonsense, and straightforwardly said, I have the ability to resurrect others, as long as I have a little cell of the dead, I can resurrect. At first, Kakashi took Nohara Lin's body and buried it in Konoha. I can help you resurrect her when I return. But you have to make up for the trauma you have caused to the world. He paused and added, and to pass Konoha's assessment, become a 6th Hokage, and stay in Konoha all his life. Senju Chang's tone was flat, can you do it at such a price? The reason why Obito is willing to be so cheap is mainly to hope that Konoha can prosper forever. It is impossible for Senju Chang to guard Konoha forever, he will leave here sooner or later. But for Konoha, he always has something to worry about in his heart. After all, after living for so many years, he didn't want his former homeland to decline gradually. Before leaving, he could help Konoha a little bit more. Can you revive Lin? How is this possible? It's ridiculous that someone would say such absurd things. But Obito still chose to seize the almost impossible hope because of his grievances to Rin Nohara. He shouted, if you can revive Lin, I can kill Uchiha Madara for you too. But if you lie to me, no matter who you are, I will. Come on. Senju Chang interrupted in a cold voice, releasing a healing magic enveloped Obito. He paced towards Madara, turning his back to Obito. Neither you nor Uchiha Madara can be my opponent. The strength of Senju's longevity nowadays is the existence of invincibility from the perspective of ninja world. Absolutely invincible. Even if Otsutsuki Kaguya is here, he is a younger sister in front of him, punching one. The kind that cried for a long time, don't be ashamed, Uchiha Madara sneered. Before reaching the 6 pads level, he was invincible. Looking at the entire ninja world, there was no opponent. Now that he has achieved the 6 pads level, he is absolutely invincible. Huh. You. Madara turned her head to look at the man who speaks without shame, but was stunned to find out. Why is this guy so familiar? Longevity. From a distance, they rushed to Hashirama and Tobirama next to the Ninja United Army, and both of them stunned at the same time. This guy really lives to this day. Tobirama took a deep breath and smiled bitterly. Ha ha ha. Longevity. I know you are not easy, you have lived for so long. Hashirama yelled happily, and the voice spread throughout the battlefield. Senju Chang just glanced at Hashirama lightly and did not respond to anything. HMPH, I didn't expect you to live till now. It seems that you have an immortal secret. Madara snorted coldly, disapproving in his heart. What can you do if you are not old? Does it mean that if you live longer, your strength will be stronger? I'm just a teacher, what can I do? He clearly remembers that Senju's longevity was a disgrace to the Senju clan. Give up, Madara, you can't turn on infinite Tsukuyomi with me. Senju Changsheng's face was plain, as if he was chatting with an old friend. I haven't seen Uchiha Madara for a long time. This strange and familiar feeling makes him feel very strange. As if dreaming back to the time when Konoha was founded. Only you? What a joke. Madara looked up and laughed as if hearing the funniest thing in the world. Then with a wave of his hand, a truth-seeking ball suddenly flew out. Call out. During the flight, the truth-seeking ball became a sharp arrow penetrating out, pointing directly at Senju Changsheng's heart. In Madara's view, Senju Changsheng is a dead man. But at this moment, a black truth-seeking ball condensed in the palm of Senju Changsheng and turned into a black long stick. Boom. A stick was knocked out, and Madara's sharp arrow exploded on the spot. Huh? How could it be? Madara's face froze. Before he recovered, Senju Changsheng had already flashed in front of him, and the black club knocked it down with a strong wind. Boom. Unmatched power was acting on Madara, his body was uncontrollable, and he flew hundreds of miles away on the spot. An ant-like existence, Senju Changsheng said calmly. Immediately afterwards, he caught up with Uchiha Madara in the horizontal flight again. The black truth-seeking balls are connected together to form a black shield, enveloping Madara to form a perfect defense. Bang. But the same truth-seeking ball, the black stick condensed by Senju Changsheng, seems to have natural restraint on Madara's truth-seeking ball. A stick fell, and the shield instantly rotted into black fragments, scattered all over the sky. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 187 Madara's triple kill. Senju Changsheng smashed down with a stick. Madara's body suddenly fell to the ground, and the rubble flew off. Cough. Madara, who had just become a 6 pads class, vomited blood and was beaten up. Senju Changsheng descended from the sky and stepped on Madara's body, kicking her chest into a huge blood hole. Call out. Call out. Call out. The 3 truth-seeking balls gathered like meteors and blasted towards Senju Changsheng. He held the stick in one hand and swung it 3 times in a row, directly smashing the 3 truth-seeking balls. Madara took the opportunity to escape. The blood hole in her body was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. What's the situation? Madara's face was cloudy and uncertain. Just now, these few times, it is no longer a fight. It's just being slapped and beaten unilaterally. It was just like the one he punched one at a time when he smashed various fish ninjas before, without any force at all. He has clearly become the 6 pads rank. Shouldn't he crush everything and push the ninja world horizontally? Why does he seem to have no resistance at all? Ahem. Uchiha Madara coughed out a few bites of blood again, and just after escaping 100 miles, a big hand appeared in the sky in vain. A storm formed by rolling natural energy, sweeping down. As if the 5-finger mountain was suppressed, Uchiha Madara could not breathe under the pressure of the vast spirit. Rumble. Madara resisted with the only truth-seeking ball, but as before, the black shield shattered layer by layer. He was transformed into a big character by this spiritual pressure, and his whole person sank into the ground. Sage Art Wood style. The tree world is coming. Madara's voice was hoarse, and under the suppression of the invisible aura, she released Sage Art Wood style. Towering trees emerged from the ground, blooming with the brilliance of life, and the roots of the trees lingered and entangled. In less than a moment, a dense forest was formed within 100 li. But these towering trees collapsed one after another, and under the suppression of the big hand, they turned into sawdust. Sage Art Yin Dun Lei Sect. Shit. The moment the tree world was used to resist the aura, Madara took the opportunity to get away. His figure suddenly appeared next to Senju Chang, with a purple thunder in his hand, making a crackling sound. Dense purple electricity spread out, and thunder rumbling sounded around. Yang Wu Lei. Senju Chang's complexion was flat, with blue and white thunder and lightning flashing in his palm. The two kinds of lightning collided with each other, and the intertwined rays of light changed the color of the world and the thunder was surging. Rumble. The aftermath exploded on the ground, like a thunderbolt. The White Zetsu army and the Ninja Joint army all evaded one after another, and if they were a little careless, they died. What a terrible battle, is this the power of the Immortal? We don't even have a chance to intervene. As expected, Mr. Immortal, even if you are facing Sage of Six Paths Madara, you can still deal with it freely. The ninjas who retreated to the safe area couldn't help sighing. Uchiha Madara was already so powerful before he became the Six Paths level. Now that he became the Six Paths level, he pushed the ninja world even more. But even so, after meeting Mr. Immortal, he was still beaten up. It seems that there is no existence in the world that can compete with Mr. Immortal. The ninjas admired them in their hearts, and even the Hashirama and Tobirama on the side could not help laughing. The weak scholars in their family were so tough, the hidden is really deep enough. Boom. As everyone sighed, two waves of thunder and lightning exploded. Madara was beaten by Senju Chang again, and her chest was pierced into blood and blood. His body glided against the ground for a long distance, a backflip, and Rinnegan condensed. Wheel Tomb Edge Prison. Four invisible figures suddenly appeared and surrounded Senju Chang. Let's take a look at the strongest power of the Uchiha family, Madara yelled with blood from the corner of her mouth. Senju Chang's eyes also glowed golden in an instant, clearly seeing the four avatars that had escaped in the different dimensional space. The black sword Chusui held tightly in his hand and stabbed four knives in an instant. Cut the steel and flash for 4 consecutive times. Kang. White light flashed by, and the four clones exploded at the same time. Madara's face changed slightly, and she urged Shanli to drive Rinnegan again. A strong wind whirled under Senju Chang's feet. He stepped on the hurricane and moved to Uchiha Madara like lightning. No sense of resistance, give the leader. Senju Chang's face was cold, and he swung a sword out of the tornado wind. Don't underestimate people, you bastard, Uchiha Madara gritted her teeth, blood overflowing in her eyes. Tomb of the Wheel Susanoo. Boom. The surging chakra burst out from his body, and four invisible complete bodies Susanoo suddenly rose. Several chakra swords fell at the same time, causing the air to burst. And if you move forward with the wind, you must be careful behind you. Senju's longevity is still calm, and he even has the mood to steal people's lines, stepping out, and the hurricane is rising. There are gusts of wind moving thousands of miles around, and the clouds in the sky also blow into a whirlpool. The tornado rises from Senju Chang as the center. Boom. In an instant, the four complete bodies of Susanoo were cut into chakra energy under the violent wind, and dissipated in all directions. Even Uchiha Madara was blown away by the gust of wind, looking shocked. Can't even stop the tomb of Susanoo? A wisp of breeze is the wound of a sword, and this tornado hurricane is like a billions of swords revolving and cutting. A large amount of blood stains appeared on Uchiha Madara's body, and the celestial robe was torn to pieces by the wind. How can it be? Madara felt desperate and powerless in his heart, and he finally felt at this moment, what is the power of the gods? I also remembered what Uchiha Itachi said earlier. The Senju Chang in front of you is the immortal god of Konoha Village. I don't believe it, take me one more trick. Uchiha Madara has a hideous face, and the lavender Rinnegan looks a little red at this moment. Round Tomb Susanoo Shinra Tianjung. Chakra burns quickly, and Susanoo reappears. Madara and the four Susanoo wave their hands at the same time. The light curtain of hundreds of feet is like the sky is pressing down, trying to resist the gust of wind, and at the same time let Senju Chang drown in it. Rumble. The storm collided with the Shenluo Tianjung, bursting out turbulent waves of spiritual energy. Tengai Shinsei. One wave after another, Madara tried her best and slapped her palms. All the rocks within 100 miles rose up, forming two super large planetary devastation in the air, smashing them down with strong wind. Sage Art Fire Style Longyan Singing Technique. Uchiha took a deep breath, exhaling 400-foot fire dragons. Wow. Triple lore. Uchiha Madara's celestial magic and pupil magic were continuously released, instantly evacuating the chakra in the body. When the four Susanoo released the Shenra Heavenly Sign, they also spit out the red flame fire dragon together with Uchiha Madara's body. 200-foot fire dragons are flying all over the sky, and the dragon roars for 9 days, dyeing the night crimson. The horrible scene was like the sun god descending to the world, and the nearby temperature rose a bit with it. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 188 Refining and absorbing 10 tails 20 red dragons swept across and rushed towards Senju Chang from all directions, and opened their pouring mouth, with flames blazing inside. The 5 heavenly light curtains were suppressed, and the power of Shenluo Tianjung swept across the earth, pushing the gravel and soil. There are also two Tengai Shinsei superimposed and falling above them, and they are scalded by the crimson burnt by the hot flames. Boom! The first thing that came oncoming was the impact of the light curtain of the 5 Dao Shenluo Tianzheng, deafening sounds accompanied by the earth trembling. Senju Chang waved the black knife Chusui, and there was a golden flame burning on the knife body, and the slight vibration caused the space to shatter. Breath of the Sun. Emperor Jin burns the sky, shock fruit. Under the combination of the three powers, Shenluo Tianzheng suddenly exploded. This knife not only smashed the 5 gods of heaven, but also smashed the void. The deep purple void crack runs through the sky and the earth, like a ladder leading to the starry sky of the universe. Kang. The vast sword energy flew out, as fast as lightning, and instantly penetrated two Tengai Shinsei. The picture seemed to stagnate for half a second at this moment, followed by a loud bang. The two stacked Tengai Shinsei split in half on the spot, as if a continent had fallen into the earth from above. Frightened the ninjas to dodge again, some white Zetsu and the ninjas were smashed into flesh by the gravel. 20 flaming dragons struck. Senju was eternally blessed, the golden light curse in his body turned into a star, and the golden light enveloped his body. Rumble. The fire dragon hit him, bursting out into the sky, like a nuclear bomb erupting, raising thousands of miles of smoke. As the airwaves blow, the ninjas watching the battle in the distance retreat and back again, and their robes are blown into hunting noises. Some slow-moving ninjas were burned on the spot, and their whole bodies were flushed. What a strong outbreak, can Mr. Immortal stop it? A Jonin said solemnly with hot skin. What nonsense are you talking about? How could Mr. Immortal not be able to beat it? A Konoha shinobi could not help but retorted. I'm not worried. All retreats without Jonin's strength, don't stay here. Uchiha Itachi gave a soft sigh to the rumors of the ninjas. Chunin and Genin retreated one after another and went to other places to support. The battle between the White Zetsu Army and the Ninja United Army still broke out, but it didn't end there. The reason why so many people are watching here is purely because the war here is about everything. If there is an accident, even if they lose their lives, they must rush to stop Uchiha Madara. Of course, Konoha's trust in Senju is very high, especially in the current crushing situation. It can be said that victory is in sight. Mr. Immortal is too stable. The flames and smoke gradually dissipated, revealing the two figures of Senju Chang and Uchiha Madara. What is shocking is that the tragic situation of the imaginary battle did not happen. I saw Senju standing unscathed, the golden light curse on his body slowly dissipating. Uchiha Madara was stepped on his feet and was dying. The two arms on his body were severed on the spot, and the wounds were still moving, but the recovery was extremely slow. Are you aware of the gap? Senju Chang said lightly. Madara coughed slightly, took a few deep breaths, and said unwillingly. You are also a 6 paths class. How is this possible? You don't have 10 tails chakra at all. Who said I don't have 10 tails chakra? As Senju's voice fell, the chakra in his body surged out. The evil 10 tails chakra fluctuated, causing the 10 tails in Madara's body to become agitated. Madara's complexion changed, and she hurriedly suppressed 10 tails in her body to prevent the tail beasts from escaping. But at this moment, Senju Chang reached out and grabbed his neck in vain, and Madara was picked up. At the moment when Senju Chang was caught, Madara felt a natural energy invade her body. Sealed all the chakra energy in his body. Madara was shocked inwardly. This is Senju's longevity sealing technique. After signing in for so many years, it is natural to have everything, including the chakra seal technique. I will accept the power of 10 tails. From now on, there will be no tailless beasts in the ninja world. Thank you for collecting it. Senju Chang smiled, and then aura touched the 10 tails in Madara's body and pulled it out abruptly. Wow! 10 tails chakra is condensed into a huge body, and the sharp roar makes the heart tremble. The evil chakra energy fluctuates, causing the ninjas to change their colors. It's 10 tails. Mr. Immortal pulled 10 tails out. Good evil chakra energy. Can he suppress 10 tails? Asked a Jonin from another village. Do you have a brain disease? 6 paths class Madara was beaten violently. Why would you be afraid of a 10 tails? Konoha shinobi scolded angrily. No, Mr. Immortal seems to be absorbing 10 tails. Ah, doesn't he already have 6 paths level strength? Why should he absorb 10 tails? Is the current state temporary? Someone raised doubts. Well, has anyone thought about what to do with our tail beast? Suddenly the noise was reminded by others, and everyone was stunned. Yes, the 10 tails in front of me was made by 9 beasts in their village. Once absorbed by Senju, wouldn't there be no tail beasts? How long has it been since the tail beast that has just been bought is just gone? Damn it. Thinking of this, the Ninja United Army began to feel restless. They didn't understand what Senju was going to do. Is it really impossible to swallow their tail beasts like this? Senju Chang ignored the doubts of the ninjas after he pulled out 10 tails. Wrap the seal with spiritual energy and then burn it with the Golden Emperor burning sky without sprinkling human powder. Roar, in the painful roar, 10 tails was refined by Senju into aura and 10 tails chakra. He wouldn't inhale 10 tails directly into his body like Madara, it would be disgusting. 10 Tails possesses a huge amount of aura and chakra in its body. These are all things that can be perfectly integrated with Senju. As for what will happen to the 9-tailed beast in the future, Senju does not intend to think so much. The ninja world without tail beasts is still the ninja world. The tail beast has brought many devastating disasters to this world, and it is better to destroy it instead of keeping it. Reiki and chakra are inhaled into the body, and the whole body's cells are cheering. The surging spiritual energy made the golden bitter sea turbulent in Senju's longevity dantian, and the chaotic vision of the desolate ancient sacrament emerged behind it. Ding! At this moment, a truth-seeking ball suddenly condensed, directly pinning a pitch-black flowing body. Black Zetsu is preparing for a sneak attack. Madara's failure and the withdrawal of 10 Tails. Black Zetsu's plan also means failure. He cannot be resurrected Otsutsuki Kaguya. But this is the last chance, he can only give it a go. At the moment Senju didn't pay attention, kill the opponent. Unfortunately, the current situation has clearly shown that Black Zetsu's ideas are a bit naive. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 189 Primordial, 8 or 9 Profound Techniques. Black Zetsu's plan failed. He was very unwilling to resist, but he couldn't get rid of the confinement of truth-seeking ball. I can only watch Senju Chang finish absorbing 10 Tails, and unparalleled energy fluctuations erupted from his body. Rumble. Suddenly, thunder and lightning surged in the sky, and the colorful thunder and lightning turned into lifelike thunder dragons, descending from the sky. Thunder tribulation on the second floor of Sendai. After absorbing the majestic aura, Senju's longevity power system also broke through. The battlefield is mighty, thunder is raging, and the dragon screams for 9 days. Roar, the mighty power of the Qianzhong dragon is much greater than the flame dragon that Uchiha Madara just released. The night was shrouded in thunder light, and the dazzling light seemed to crack open the mouth of the virtual sky's path. Thunder Dragon stretched out its huge head from the abyss, trying to swallow everything in the world. Senju Chang flew up instantly and hit the Thunder Dragon head on, letting the thunder raging and tempering his flesh. The golden idols walked in the air, surging with blood. The image of the prison is running, and there is no fear of this Thunder Dragon electric light, and even treat it as a treasure for tempering the flesh. The 840 million particles made a resonance sound, like the holy sound of a great road, and the idols hummed together. Rumble. Senju Chang was baptized in the thunder robbery, and his cultivation base rose steadily. On the second floor of Sendai, divine consciousness opens up the treasures of the human body. Under the impact of the divine consciousness, his whole body exudes the color of jade, and the power of power shocks the world. Sendai's second floor. But the thunder tribulation did not end there. The thunder in the sky continued to flicker, and the momentum was more mighty than before. Boom! Thousands of miles of clouds gathered together, like a sea of rivers and rivers. Is this the power of Mr. Immortal? It's terrible. The ninja who was watching from a distant sighed. What are those thunder and lightning? Is there anything going on? I feel that this thunder and lightning wave is not very good, it is stronger than the lightning style I have seen. They have now retreated hundreds of miles away, looking from a distance, almost no figure can be seen. And they are still on a high ground, looking down from the high ground. The place where Senju Chang and Uchiha Madara fought was already a depression, like a huge meteorite crater. The surrounding area was deserted, and was destroyed by the fighting between the two and turned into mud. That is Master's thunder tribulation. When he reaches his level, he will usher in various thunder tribulations, because the world can't tolerate it. Tsunade folded his arms around his chest and red lips kissed him. This wait for thunder tribulation. I will be blown into dust as soon as I meet you. Itachi's eyes were extremely complicated. There is envy, awe, and unwillingness. I envy the seniors and sisters who have the talent to cultivate immortality. Awe that the teacher can reach this level, and are not willing to be ordinary. I must smash a fairy road, Itachi whispered inwardly. His decision successfully allowed him to endure hardships in the future, and prove that he will become immortal. Wow! A torrential rain fell in vain in the air, causing the ninjas to be surprised. Strange, why is it raining? No, the weather is not like rain. And there is only rain in the area of Mr. Immortal. We can't feel it at all, not even the wind. It's not rainstorm, it's thunder and lightning, Tsunade sneered. The dense black rain was actually formed by thunder and lightning. Senju Chang is located in the center of the storm and thunder and is baptized by thunder and lightning. The ground below, under the bombardment of this thunder, continued to sink. Uchiha Madara, who was dying, was struck by this torrential rain and thunder, and instantly turned into dust. He couldn't even leave his last words. Not long after Madara was resurrected, not only was she blown up, she also died in the thunder, which was really aggrieved. Ah! Black Zetsu, who was nailed to the ground, screamed in pain under the thunder and lightning that was like a torrential rain. Even the black nails condensed by the truth-seeking ball were blasted into fragments under the thunder, and then Black Zetsu was able to escape. Cut! Senju Chang gave a soft cry, and cut off himself with an invisible knife. On the third floor of Sendai, clear one's own way and become the king. The moment the sword fell, what Senju had learned all his life dissipated in an instant, turning into traces of the avenue. The whole world was trembling at this moment, and the buzzing sound was deafening. The traces of the avenue were like the Milky Way scattered, shining like a rainbow, traversing the sky. The stars shimmered in the sky, and the rays of light shone on Senju Chang's body, like rain and dew from the heavens, nourishing everything. I have a new experience of what I have learned throughout my life. Sendai, third floor. The aura in 10 Tails made him walk directly from the first floor of Sendai to the second floor of Sendai, and he had to go through 2 great thunder tribulations in a row. But it's not over yet. The power of dense laws is condensed from Senju Chang, the rules of various colors are intertwined, and the rules and lines are shining. The majestic vitality gushed out of his body, and green buds began to emerge from the broken pit. Immortal longevity Kungfu is finally about to break through. Senju Chang stuck in the realm of Tianjin. I don't know how long it has passed. When he reached the 3rd floor of Sendai, he finally touched that level of balance. Starting from the realm of the Great Venerable, it is the path of enlightenment. The Great Lord is the first step of the path, and the Tianjin is the second step of the path. Then the third step of the sermon is Taiku. In the primordial realm, you can control the rules of the world and set foot on the stars. The planet is no longer a bondage, the strength surpasses Tianjin countless times, and the cultivation base is unfathomable. Within a single thought, Senju Chang could cross out of the solar system in an instant. His divine consciousness completely covers the entire Earth. Everything in the world is under his control. As long as he wants to, he can control the power of heaven and earth and burst the continent on the other side of the earth. There is no thunder in the immortal longevity Kungfu. Senju Chang steps on the void, and the spiritual energy in his body sweeps the world. The richness of vitality instantly turned this area into a forest of forests. Tsunade, Hinata and Itachi, their pupils suddenly shrank, and their hearts were shocked to ultimate. Master. Taiku. It's Taiku, Master, he broke through. Tsunade was very excited and put his jade hands together. Hinata's pretty face has reddened, although she is still reserved, but she can still tell from her expression that she is equally excited in her heart. Taiku. That was a realm that they couldn't even think of. The ability to reach this level no longer depends on cultivation talents and opportunities, but more on the ability to control the rules. Some Tianjin will not be able to step into Taiku for a lifetime, and eventually die of old age. Teacher. Itachi took a deep breath and his eyes became firmer and firmer. Senju Chang landed slowly, and the original ruined land has now turned into a green forest. His consciousness swept the earth and instantly locked the position of Black Zetsu. No matter where Black Zetsu escapes, as long as he is still on Earth, he will be caught by it. The power of heaven and earth scrolled, pulling Black Zetsu back on the spot, and nailing it to the ground again with a truth-seeking ball. At the same time, he said silently to sign in. Ding, trigger the 4th Ninja World War sign in. Congratulations on getting 89 profound art, close black lens bracket. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 190 Another Kaguya Bajiyu Xuengong, also known as 9 turns Yuengong. The maximum number of yin is 8, and the maximum number of yang is 9. The multiplication of 8 and 9 is the maximum number in Taoism. Therefore, there are 8 trigrams in the world, the 72 house. This exercise is all-encompassing and contains all kinds of magical powers, including Dharma, heaven and earth, 72 transformations, driving in the mist and clouds, Yuanshan out of orifice, and the immortal body of the Vajra. If the divine power is cultivated to the 9th revolution, the body will not die if the primordial spirit in the Niwan Palace is immortal, and the primordial spirit can be protected without fear, and the physical body can be infinitely resurrected. Coupled with changes in the wind, it can be called immortality. Of course, this exercise is not as powerful as the undead longevity gong. In the prehistoric world, there are still many ways to kill the 89 profound art practitioners. Moreover, this practice focuses on physical strength and does not overlap with the undead longevity kungfu. It was a physical exercise, which just made up for the power of the gods to restrain the prison. Until now, Senju's longevity cultivation had already reached its limit. As a result, there was a vacancy in body refining, and the 89 profound art just made up for this. The reward is not bad. Senju Chang nodded inwardly. He cast his eyes on the Black Zetsu on the ground. Without Uchiha Madara, Black Zetsu's plan was a complete failure. Kaguya probably won't be born. I'm sorry, your resurrection plan could not be completed. Senju Chang smiled lightly. Hearing that, Black Zetsu's expression is obviously a bit stiff. Let alone his defeat now, only he is aware of the resurrection plan alone. But from the other's tone, it was obvious that he knew the cause and effect. Who are you? Black Zetsu asked in a deep voice. Senju Chang looked plain and said, naturally, Konoha's ninja. Everyone likes to call me Mr. Immortal. No, this is definitely not your true identity. You know my mother, don't you? Black Zetsu was a little agitated, and struggled a few times under truth-seeking ball. Stop talking nonsense with you, whether you believe it or not. Senju Chang didn't intend to continue talking to him. The villain died of the talkative flag, which affected everyone. Bear. The Golden Emperor burning Tianyan burst out from his palm, and the golden flames were burning. Just as he was about to burn Black Zetsu to ashes, his movements suddenly stopped and he looked at another clearing. Under the scanning of the divine consciousness, the space fluctuated violently. A black passage suddenly unfolded in the void. It is composed of small pieces of black cubes, and there are faint signs of collapse. The breath of the ancestor of chakra diffused from the tunnel. In an instant, all the ninjas felt the chakra in their bodies, and they were strongly suppressed. Everyone looked shocked, and even Black Zetsu and Senju Chang were stunned. What is the situation? What a terrible suppression ability. Why is my chakra suppressed? Is this ninjutsu? Everyone is on alert for emergencies. With an order, everyone in the Ninja United Army stood up at the same time, prepared a fighting posture, and watched the black passage vigilantly. I saw a white figure silently floated out of it, beautiful face, pale skin, long blue and white hair hanging down to the heel. There are 2 horns on his head, his eyes are pure white, and there is a reincarnation Sharingan on his forehead. Otsutsuki Kaguya, Mom, Black Zetsu said in amazement. He didn't expect that his plan had failed. Why did his mother still resurrect? The breath of the ancestor of chakra right now can't be wrong. What is going on here? Senju Chang has a dignified face and feels that the situation has become very difficult. Should it be? He could vaguely guess something was wrong. The arrival of Kaguya may be inseparable from the Zoro crossing event. Shinikai. Did I come to the wrong place? Otsutsuki Kaguya murmured in a low voice, floating in the air. Her words fell precisely to Senju Chang's ears. The guess in the heart is also a bit better. Mom, look over there, a voice came from the cuff of Otsutsuki Kaguya. Looking from a distance, one can vaguely see a pair of eyes. The look is exactly the same as that of Black Zetsu next to Senju Chang. Hearing this, Otsutsuki Kaguya cast his eyes on Black Zetsu and said in a daze, the second Black Zetsu? Mom, we are probably in another ninja world. There was another voice from Otsutsuki Kaguya's cuff. Kaguya nodded, without rebuttal or astonishment. I see. Shit. With the sound of Otsutsuki Kaguya falling, the black transmission channel suddenly opened next to Black Zetsu. A pair of white jade hands crushed the black nails formed by the truth-seeking ball on the spot, and grabbed Black Zetsu to his side. Blood Succession Snare Wangchen Hirosaka, Kaguya's Space Ninjutsu. The captured Black Zetsu didn't hesitate too much and went straight into the other cuff of Kaguya. Although I don't understand what's going on, my mother is my mother. He is Kaguya's will. The moment Black Zetsu entered Kaguya's cuff, the breath of Otsutsuki Kaguya rose again. The terrifying chakra energy swept the audience, and countless ninjas were so oppressed by this chakra that it was difficult to get up. I probably understand. You are Kaguya in another world. Does the Hokage world also have parallel universes? Senju lived a long life and said, or, that Marvel world split led to the present scene. What is the reason? There is no need to pursue it. Anyway, the result has come out. It's all done. The shadow of Kaguya's cuff is Black Zetsu, but Black Zetsu from other worlds. And now the integration of the second Black Zetsu makes Kaguya stronger. Chakra fluctuated for a few seconds before finally converging slightly. Otsutsuki Kaguya raised his head and stared at the bright moon in the sky. This world hasn't fallen asleep yet, so let me do it again. Excuse me, where do I go back from? Otherwise I will die here, understand? The moment Kaguya was about to release Infinite Tsukuyomi, Senju Chang's cold voice sounded. Immediately after a burst of air-breaking sound, Kaguya directly launched Byakugan Coercion. Boom! The power that resembled the gods burst out of Kaguya's body, colliding with Senju's fist, erupting loudly. Kaguya's Byakugan Coercion is suddenly torn apart. The terrifying fists exploded unstoppably, and the vast might of power shook the world and drove strong winds. Rabbit hair needle. Kaguya's face condensed, her long blue and white hair turned into a needle and thread, piercing out. Every hair hits the weakness of Senju Chang's meridians. Shit. Suddenly, the golden light curse rises from Senju's body, turning into meteoric gas lingering around. The rabbit fur needle hit the golden light curse and made a series of needle and thread falling to the ground. Boom. The moment Kaguya's hair was bounced by the golden light curse, Senju Chang's fist hit her. In an instant, Kaguya's body flew out like an offline kite. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 191 Expansion Truth-Seeking Ball Boom. Kaguya flew upside down and crashed into mountains and rivers, and the rubble rolled down. The plain that had just changed from a barren land to a green forest was once again devastated. A large piece of woods turned into dust under this destructive force. Call out! Call out! Call out! As Kaguya flew out, several white bone spurs pierced and shot sharply. Kill the ashes. As long as it is touched, it will become dust. Senju Chang used the truth-seeking ball to form a black stick, smashing all the bone spurs in front of him, chasing it out like lightning. Who are you? There should be no character like you in the ninja world. Otsutsuki Kaguya asked calmly. Senju Chang was taken aback for a while. Judging from the other's tone and demeanor, it seems that he knows who will exist in the ninja world, and he knows even more about the parallel world. Is Kaguya a traverser? Where did you come from? While Senju Chang was born and asked, 10 truth-seeking balls blasted out at the same time. Kaguya Ninjutsu was launched, and his figure was divided into 2 and 2 into 4. In just half a breath, 16 Otsutsuki Kaguya appeared, 10 of which collided with the truth-seeking ball in the front. The other 6 avatars surrounded Senju Chang in 6 directions, and at the same time raised their white jade hands. The dark sphere that swallowed everything, condensed at Kaguya's fingertips. The moment the black ball appeared, the light of the entire world seemed to be sucked into it. The restless energy is even more terrifying than Tailed Beast Bomb, as if it possesses the power to destroy the world. 6 black balls comparable in size to Tengai Shinsei swelled up at the same time, pressing down on Senju Chang, driving a buzzing sound. Swell truth-seeking ball. I should ask you. There is no you in my world. The only one who is stronger than me is the master. With the sound of Otsutsuki Kaguya falling, the expansion truth-seeking ball also fell, and the surrounding space appeared dense cracks at this moment. Rumble. The purple void sky's path marks split like a spiderweb, and the rumbling sound reverberates in the void abyss, like the screams of this world. Senju Chang did not dare to underestimate him, although he was not afraid to inflate the truth-seeking ball. But these 6 expanded truth-seeking balls fell on the earth, and the consequences would be disastrous. He stepped diagonally, and the chaotic vision appeared behind him, like a scene that opened up the world. The sound of the ancient sacramental body vibrates, and the blood is turbulent, turning into a golden idol. With a punch, the space is shattered and isolated. Boom. When the two collided, the explosion sounded across the sky, and the chakra energy and spiritual energy slammed out of the impact, covering the entire earth. All the standing creatures fell to the ground in an instant, making it difficult to move. After blocking the 6-time destructive swelling truth-seeking ball, Senju Chang soared to Otsutsuki Kaguya. 6 paths reincarnation punched out, and 6 dark holes were immediately formed behind him, as if it could send people to reincarnation. 80 God airstrike. Otsutsuki Kaguya's face remained calm, and as soon as he lifted his palm, he released countless big punches in the air and collided with Senju. Bang 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 bang. The air between the two exploded again, a deafening sound, accompanied by the vast aura and chakra. The two were fighting in the air, but Yu-Bo had already turned everything in the hundreds of miles below into dust. Retreat. Everyone leave here. Namikaze Minato shouted with a gloomy expression. No matter what the strength of the ninja, all began to flee in the opposite direction. Yes, just run away. This powerful battle fluctuation has not allowed anyone to watch. As long as you can still see the battle scene, it means that standing here will be life-threatening. The roar was continuous, mountains and rivers collapsed, and the earth fell. The battle between the two sank half a turtle island, from the island to the sea, fighting and destroying all the creatures in this sea area. The Imperial Palace of Heaven. Kaguya snorted softly and organized the space to draw Senju Chang into it. In an instant, the two came to an endless desert from the sea. Senju Chang didn't care about the changing scenes around him. There was a golden flame burning on his fist, and the 6 black holes behind him merged into one. 6 paths reincarnation. Boom. 6 paths reincarnation punched Kaguya, suddenly exploded into sand and merged into the space. The whole world moved at this moment, and the desert seemed to have life, forming a huge figure, reaching out to him with a big hand covering the sky. Senju Chang's complexion was calm, and he took out the space gems and time gems from the system space, and his figure instantly moved to the sky. Bang! The sandstorm slapped down with a big hand, and the sky was full of smoke. Senju Chang easily escaped Kaguya's blow. It's useless. In my space, everything is under my control. Wow! Kaguya fell in a cold voice, and the entire space began to turn upside down, and the dust turned into magma, covering it from the sky like a tsunami. The dry desert space turned into a hot magma world in an instant. In this world, you are not the only one who can organize and manipulate space. Senju Chang's complexion is plain, time and space are under his control at this moment. Suddenly, the blue and green lights spread out, covering this space. The tsunami-like magma suddenly stopped in the process of covering, as if time had frozen. Everything around him stopped at this moment, and even the sound disappeared. Senju Chang stood in the air, looking down at Kaguya coldly, and said, "Who is your master and how did you come here? Tell me everything." The still picture also imprisoned Kaguya's body. At this moment, she couldn't move, she couldn't do anything except talk. "How can you listen to the master's name? This is my space world, and no one can completely control it." Otsutsuki Kaguya's face was equally calm, without any waves. Her voice was very cold, and even in the face of the magical power of infinite gems, she could not be shocked. Kaguya's body began to squirm and swell, the blue and green lights began to tremble, and she gradually broke free from the shackles of time gems and space gems. "Jia!" A sharp and piercing voice came from Kaguya's mouth, her body swelled and enlarged. In the end, it turned into a giant white rabbit with its feet on the void, and there was a huge reincarnation Sharingan on its forehead. The back body and other positions are the heads and faces of the 9-tailed beasts. Tailed animalization Kaguya. After absorbing 10 tails, Kaguya turned into a rabbit, or in other words, her body was a rabbit. Do you think you are a jade rabbit? Is it possible that your master is as beautiful as Chang'e? Senju Chang said jokingly. How can you imagine the beauty of the master? Kaguya's voice spread across the sky, and the rabbit's mouth opened wide. A Baizhang truth-seeking ball burning with purple flames condenses and forms in the air. An indescribable chakra fluctuation made the heavens and the earth change, and the surging power swept the shock. The moment this truth-seeking ball appeared, the frozen time and space were all shattered at this moment. The hot magma rolled down again, and under the influence of this truth-seeking ball, it became more restless and boiling. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 192 Kaguya's Master Finally, Truth-Seeking Ball. End everything in the world. Everything is dust. The formation of this truth-seeking ball instantly sucked away a large amount of chakra from Kaguya's body. You know, Kaguya is the ancestor of chakra, and the chakra in her body is almost infinite. It is conceivable that this final truth-seeking ball condensed by Kaguya is so terrifying. The light of the entire magma space dimmed in an instant, as if absorbed by the truth-seeking ball. Shrouded in purple-black energy, the restless chakra rubbed against the air to make a buzzing sound. Laugh. Senju Chang's sage art's ice escapes from itself, and the cold air instantly freezes magma in a radius of thousands of miles. Die. From now on, this world will also enter a wonderful dreamland. Kaguya's sharp voice sounded again, and the control finally crushed the truth-seeking ball. Rumbling, the power of annihilating the world is suppressed, and the restless energy feels suffocating. The buzzing sound was deafening, and the purple-black light filled the whole world. Senju's eyes began to glow with golden light, and the primordial cultivation base was released, shaking the entire magma space. Finally, the truth-seeking ball has not fallen yet, and this space has already begun to collapse. The black cubes were rippling and scattered, and he had to use space gems to stabilize the space. Because outside of the space is the Hokage world. If this truth-seeking ball falls, the ninja world will probably be destroyed by half. In the case of an explosion in the sea, it will cause a monstrous tsunami, flooding major villages. Senju Chang not only needs to stabilize the space, but also takes over all the damage of this truth-seeking ball. The chaotic vision burst out from the body, forming a chaotic world in front of him. Behind them are 6 black holes leading to reincarnation, representing 6 paths. Boom! In the heyday, Senju Chang became a god, like a god descending to the earth, with black hair flying. While Qianzhang's figure Yi stood, the golden light surged and hit the final truth-seeking ball with a punch. The buzzing sounded across the sky, and finally the truth-seeking ball suddenly exploded, causing both of them to fall into their tinnitus. The purple-black flame in front of me flooded this space at this moment. With this explosion, Senju Chang's fist finally pierced the truth-seeking ball and reached Kaguya. The giant white rabbit-tailed beast was smashed into the air by a punch. Puff! The two flew out of the heavenly imperial at the same time and fell into the sea. Senju Chang punched Kaguya with one punch after another, and the golden flame kept burning on Kaguya, exuding a scent of meat. Kaguya's huge body was beaten back to human form, and a wave of hundreds of heights and a tsunami were blasted on the sea. The sea rushed up, and the two entangled together on the surface. To be correct, it was Senju Chang who grabbed Otsutsuki Wei Yoruichi and beat him up. Chakra in the body was sucked away by the truth-seeking ball for most of Kaguya. At this moment, he is no longer Senju's opponent. After all the primordial cultivation bases broke out, Kaguya's injuries continued to increase and blood spattered. Shit. One of her jade arms was forcibly blown by Senju. The bloody scene was terrifying. But Kaguya's broken arm recovered again within a few moments. The two of you came and went, fighting for thousands of rounds on the sea, and the blood stained thousands of meters of the sea. Boom! Otsutsuki Kaguya was punched again and flew from the sea to the mainland. Several mountains were hit and collapsed, disturbing nearby creatures. She and Senju Chang fought from Turtle Island to the sea, and from the sea to the islands of the Country of Water. Kaguya coughed up blood, and the speed at which the injury was repaired was declining rapidly. Until now, it takes nearly half an hour for the broken arm to recover. At this moment, Otsutsuki Kaguya's white robe was stained red with blood, and there were several huge blood holes that looked bloody. There are still a few wisps of Golden Emperor burning Tianyan burning raging, and they can't disperse all the time. She lay on the ground and gasped, and chakra in her body was extremely unstable. Did you let go of your arrogance? If you still don't want to say it, I don't mind using some special methods. Senju Chang descended from the sky and landed beside Otsutsuki Kaguya. The speech is not rushed or slow, and the tone is flat. It seems that defeating Kaguya is an effortless thing. He wants Kaguya to speak, he has both soft and hard tricks, and he is not afraid that the other party is unwilling to explain. Sage art, infinite gems, the interrogation god tier of the 10,000 worlds chat group, and so on. There is always one suitable for Kaguya. The power of heaven and earth lifted Otsutsuki Kaguya. Senju Chang looked at her with cold eyes, and waited quietly. But after a long while, Kaguya didn't mean to reply. Allowed to be supported by Senju Chang, always silent. Forget it, you won't be able to say it anymore. Senju Chang sneered, took out the soul gem from the system space, and urged at the same time. The red and yellow rays of light bloomed and spread, instantly enveloping Otsutsuki Kaguya. The power of hitting the heart and soul made her secretly unsuccessful, and she actually made a behavior of resistance. It's a pity, how can Otsutsuki Kaguya in this state be able to withstand the pressure of heaven and earth? You can counter the power of time and space, but the mind and soul are not so easy. For Kaguya-ji, time and space are a kind of ninjutsu and a snare. But the mind and soul are mysterious things. But ninjutsu and the blood snare can't be controlled. Suddenly, the heart and soul penetrated into the depths of Kaguya's mind and soul, and various images began to appear. But at the moment Senju Chang was about to see it, an indescribable force wiped out all of this. All the pictures are blurred, there is no time to see clearly, and the sound is as harsh as an electric current. Noisy. All the pictures and sounds are turned off at the same time, and Senju Chang's soul and heart retreat at this moment. The only thing captured is one word: dream. As his mind withdrew, the body of Otsutsuki Kaguya in front of him began to drop sand. Wow. The prohibition set by the master. How can you snoop? Otsutsuki Kaguya's voice was cold, and his lower body had completely disappeared. In less than a few seconds, she was in front of Senju's longevity, turning into dust and flying away. For a while, Senju Chang fell into silence. Through all this, he has learned a lot of information content. Otsutsuki Kaguya comes from another Hokage world, but she is not a traverser, there is a master standing behind her. The existence of a suspected traveler. This person is very powerful. He also took Otsutsuki Kaguya as a subordinate, and branded the prohibition in his heart and soul. And this prohibition is stronger than the power of soul gems and soul gems. As for how Otsutsuki Kaguya came here, it can be inferred from the previous words when Kaguya came. She should have traveled through several worlds, but it was the first time she came to the second Hokage world. It can be said that it was a mistake. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 193 Uchiha dreamed the restraint in Otsutsuki Kaguya's body was triggered by Senju's longevity with infinite gems. This prohibition not only erased all Kaguya's memories, but also lost his life. If Senju Chang wants to interrogate Kaguya by other means, he must be resurrected. The emerald magic pattern emerged, but he couldn't find Kaguya's remains. Even the dust just now can't be found again. This prohibition also brings destruction of corpses. Senju Chang had to admire the people who set up the prohibition method, and he was really very strict in guarding against it. There is no more scum left. If Kaguya cannot be resurrected, there is no need to obtain information about Kaguya's master, which is a bit difficult. Senju Chang sighed, and when he returned to Konoha, he logged into the 10,000 Realms chat group. Senju Chang. At all members, everyone, if there is any abnormal situation in your world, or there is an existence that is difficult to contend with, remember to let me know. Yi-fan. Master, are there any emergencies? Gojo Satoru. It must be a big thing that will make Mr. Immortal pay attention. Zhenjiao Dagu. Did something happen? Ainzel Christine. If you need help, I am very happy. I have subdued all the members of the Revolutionary Army and it has become a big help. Tanjiro Shaman. If Mr. Immortal asks for something, I will go through fire and water. Tony Stark. +1, Polygonum Cuspidatum. +2, Beatrice. +3. In fact, the members of the group don't know if there are any emergencies. After all, they haven't read the original work, and don't know what will happen in the future normal timeline in their world. But in order to be able to detect the person behind Kaguya, it is better to remind the group members. Once encountering something difficult to contend with, Senju will be notified as soon as possible. Casting the net in a large area makes it easier to collect information about Kaguya's master. Judging from the opponent's strength, he definitely has the ability to travel through other worlds. Either they are strong or have system help. Therefore, it is not impossible to come to the world of group members. Senju Chang. It can be regarded as a major event. As for the details, it is difficult to explain. Anyway, just pay attention to it. Ainzel Christine. Okay, I'll see it later. Yun, we will. Portgas d'Ace. Mr. Immortal, I have found Zoro here. Since Senju sent a mission to Ace, he has been diving for a long time. Because of the different time flow rate, Senju has passed for a long time here, but only a few months have passed by Ace. Sailing is very long, especially going to the sea to find others. Finally, through intelligence, Ace found his brother's Straw Hat Pirates and asked about Zoro. Senju Chang. Let's talk about it. Portgas d'Ace. It's like this. I found Zoro, but he said he didn't remember. Thinking of Zoro's indifferent attitude just now, Ace couldn't help but twitch his mouth. This attitude was too casual, and he didn't take his words seriously. In fact, it is true that Zoro cannot be blamed. Apart from becoming the world's #1 swordsman and guarding the pirate group, he doesn't care about anything else. In addition, he is a road idiot himself, and he has been used to going to weird places a long time ago. Portgas D. Ace. So I learned from the words of other members of the Luffy ship that Zoro did disappear one day, but came back strangely. Senju Changsheng's heart moved. Did he drop the secret book about no sword flow to 9 sword flow? Upon hearing this, Portgas D. Ace asked Zoro next to him again. After hearing the secret book, Zoro, who was leaning on the deck, opened his eyes slightly and said casually, "The secret book, there seems to be a copy. I forgot where I dropped it. Anyway, I learned it all." Affirmed, Ace relayed the news to Senju Changsheng. Senju Changsheng was a little anxious. Then where did his cheats come from? Through the report, Zoro replied. Is there any problem with what my master gave me? Senju Changsheng. Who is Master Zoro? Is it annoying? Who is my master? Don't bother me to sleep. Zoro waved his hand impatiently, driving away Ace from the side. Although the opponent is the brother of Captain Luffy, Zoro doesn't have much interaction with this person. Coming up was like interrogation, which really made him a little irritable. Ace touched his head with an awkward smile, feeling that the task given to him by Mr. Immortal could not be completed. Click. At this moment, the newspaper seagull flying above dropped a copy of the latest world newspaper and a wanted order. Huh? Master? Leaning on the bedsheet, glanced lightly at the photo in the newspaper, and suddenly stunned. Ace, who was still thinking about how to complete the task, immediately picked up the newspaper and checked it after hearing Zoro's words. I saw a picture of Marine's new admiral printed on it, as well as the news of Akainu's appointment as Marine Marshal. New Marine Admiral, Fujitora, is he your master? Ace asked. Zoro curled his lips. Although he also uses a knife, he is not qualified to compare with my master. Hearing that, Ace turned his attention to the second new Marine Admiral. New Marine Admiral, Jinfeng. Above the photo, I saw a beautiful woman who seemed to be walking out of a picture scroll. Willow leaves, curved eyebrows, temple hair is like a cloud, autumn eyes are curved apricot eyes, as if they contain the brilliance of stars. This woman seems to be naturally soft and charming. Just from the photos, it is breathtaking. The vermilion lips under Zhao Chaochang's nose opened slightly, revealing her white teeth. The corners of her mouth rose slightly, and the alluring smile was enough to flatter all sentient beings. A long black hair fell on his waist, and the hair was slightly raised under the breeze. The stunning beauty sits on the admiral chair in a very Haki posture. With slender thighs upturned, her jade hands propped her delicate chin, as if a generation of empresses was looking down on courtiers. A snow-white palace costume that is independent of the world of pirates, shows the curvaceous figure to the fullest. If it weren't for her domineering demeanor and proud sitting posture, with her exquisite and translucent temperament, it would definitely give people a lovely feeling. Ace looked at the information introduction below with a solemn face, and directly looked for the name of this majestic woman Uchiha Dream. Uchiha, Dream? When Senju Changsheng heard Ace's report, he was stunned. The surname Uchiha is not One Piece at all. Perhaps there are people on an island whose surname is Uchiha. But in the original work, it never appeared, and there is no Jinfeng Admiral in the original book, and it is Fujitora and Green Bull who took the post. Obviously, this Uchiha Dream is a traverser, even from the Hokage world. Think of Kaguya's origins, and the word, dream, that she captured in her mind. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 194-89 Profound Techniques. The word, dream, in Kaguya's mind is probably Uchiha's dream. Senju Changsheng took a deep breath and had many thoughts in his heart. Thinking about it, I think this possibility is very great. Uchiha Dream comes from the Hokage world, but it is not from the Hokage world of Senju Jongsei, plus the only message in Kaguya-ji's mind. The correctness of his guess is 90% high. Should I go to test this Uchiha Dream? Senju Changsheng returned to Konoha Village and fell down. There were very few ninjas in the village. He walked home alone, habitually making tea and thinking. If he passes, Uchiha Yumi's attention will definitely be drawn. Senju is not sure whether this person is an enemy or a friend. The current impression of Uchiha's dream is that he has a hostile perspective. After all, what Otsutsuki Kaguya gave him was evil. It seemed that Infinite Tsukuyomi had been successfully opened in Otsutsuki Kaguya's world. Uchiha Dream didn't seem to stop this, and I don't know what happened in it. If she really allowed Otsutsuki Kaguya to do this, then it would be very different conceptually from Senju. Based on this alone, the two are destined to go to the opposite. But I don't know the strength of Uchiha's Dream. The restriction, she said, is a very advanced method. I can't let Ace go over and test it out. In case I get cold directly, or my will is modified by Uchiha Dream, can I just find out the secrets of the 10,000 Realms chat group? Senju groaned for a moment, sipping tea slowly. Although the 10,000 Realms chat group will not be directly read by the other party. But if the control group members say something about the chat group, it can still be done easily. Uchiha Meng is a traverser. Once she comes into contact with Ace, she must have the means to ask something out of Ace's mouth. Forget it, let's take a look at my 8 or 9 profound art. He sighed again, extracting the contents of the 8 or 9 profound arts in his mind. The 8-9 profound art has 9 turns. After the 9-turn dachang, the whole body is not bad, but the clouds can ride the fog, and the soul can get out of the body. There is also an additional exercise method, which is the 72 transformation. Senju was silently comprehending the longevity, and the spiritual energy in his body began to flow along the meridians, tempering the body. Every bone, every drop of blood, every inch of skin is being tempered by the exercises and begins to be transformed. He sat cross-legged and began to see visions gradually. There are green cows roaring, there are phoenix birds singing, there are dragons and dragons crawling, and branches swaying. These visions gradually became solidified, and Senju's body also faded. The hazy air of chaos enveloped his body and began to evolve everything. Senju's bones were gradually squirming, making a gurgling sound, and his skin glowed with golden light, reflecting a golden glow in the room. I don't know how long it has passed, Tsunade and others have all returned from Turtle Island. Senju Chang was still in retreat without any disturbance. Until one day, he opened his eyes and a mysterious atmosphere swept the entire ninja world in an instant. This great breath can only be felt by the cultivator. The ninjas only felt that their bodies seemed to be blown by a comfortable breeze, and the whole person became extraordinarily energetic. Sister, do you feel it? Hinata in the yard looked up at Tsunade. Tsunade said slightly. Master has broken through again, but it seems that the breakthrough is not pure cultivation, but more things, I don't know. They didn't understand what Tao was, but they could vaguely feel the extraordinary. Itachi, who was in Hokage's office, also turned his head slightly at this moment, looking in the direction of the teacher's house. The Fourth Ninja World War has come to an end, and the Ninja Alliance finally won here. Among them, the largest contribution is Konoha Village, and the least damage is also Konoha Village. The addition of Hashirama and Tobarama minimized Konoha's loss. Yakushi Kabuto, who lost the shelter of Obito and Madara, was alone. Being killed on the spot by Naruto, Sasuke and others, Impure World reincarnation was completely cancelled. After the war, the whereabouts of Otsutsuki Kaguya is unknown. The ninja army searched Turtle Island for a long time, but they did not see Senju Chang and Otsutsuki Kaguya. Finally, after cleaning up the mess, they returned to their respective villages. This war has taught all shinobu a lesson, that is, the damage caused by the war. For this reason, the 5 ninja kingdoms decided to sign a permanent peace agreement. At the same time, the 5 great ninja countries also established alliances to manage disputes in other ninja countries. Prohibit the outbreak of all wars. After returning to Konoha Village, Konoha shinobi people only then learned. It turned out that their Mr. Immortal had returned to Konoha long ago. If you guessed correctly, Otsutsuki Kaguya should have been killed by Mr. Immortal. However, the disappearance of these 9-tailed beasts caused everyone to swallow this dumb loss. The power that Senju Chang displayed made the entire ninja realm afraid to speak out and ask questions. If the tail beast is gone, it will be gone, what else, come to ask for it? Thinking of the previous godlike battle scene, everyone put away their thoughts on the tail beast. Konoha Village, the longevity home. Senju Chang slowly regained the aura of the great Tao, without a breakthrough in his body's cultivation, but his physical body became extremely powerful. Call. A cloud of white fairy mist was released from his body, and when the white mist dissipated, he had already turned into a tiny blue dragon, swimming in the room. Passing through another cloud of fairy fog, Senju Chang transformed into a sparrow and flew out of the hospital, squeaking. He flew from his home to Hokage Rock and landed on the Hokage Rock statue of Itachi. Shrouded in fairy mist again, he became a cold man wearing a black robe of fire clouds, which was exactly the face of Uchiha Itachi. 72 changes. Senju longevity can evolve into everything in the world, it can be a living thing or a dead thing. The 8-9 profound art has 9 turns, and he has now become 7 turns. All of this is due to the foundation laid by the Shenxiang prison Jinjin, so that he can reach the 7th revolution so quickly. The 8-9 profound art of rank 7 can already be said to be a great accomplishment. In the future, there will be great changes. Boom. As the fairy mist rose, Senju Chang changed back to his own appearance, leapt lightly, and a white cloud rose under his feet. Taking him into the air, he disappeared from the spot in the blink of an eye. When it reappeared, it had already come out of the starry sky, out of the solar system, and traveled in the universe. After traveling around the solar system, he flew back to Konoha Village. The speed of flying through the clouds is okay, a bit faster than flying in the air myself. Senju Chang nodded in satisfaction. Although the difference is not big, it can be regarded as an artifact on the way. Next is the question of Uchiha's dream. The reason why he dared to calm down and cultivate is purely because the flow of the Hokage world is faster than the pirate world. Even if he cultivated for a few more years, the pirate world would only be the past few months. When he boarded the 10,000 Realms chat group, he was shocked to find that the group theory broke through again during this period of time. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 195 New Member. When Senju Chang boarded the 10,000 Realms chat group, a series of messages popped up directly. Ding. The liveliness of the 10,000 Realms chat group has reached LV5. Single quote. Ding. Monkey King joins the chat group. Single quote. Ding. Monkey King joins the chat group. Single quote. Ding. Sakamoto joins the chat group. Single quote. Ding. Wu Luki joined the chat group. Single quote. Ding. Rin Tosaka joins the chat group. Single quote. Ding. Kageyama Shigeo joins the chat group. Single quote. Group owner authority increased. Kicking authority. Single quote. The privilege of the group owner is increased. Note the group member function. Single quote. The privilege of the group owner is increased. You can travel through the world of group members at will. Single quote. Mon Yashi. Interesting. A newcomer has come. Before I knew it, I also became an old member. Gojo Satoru. Ahaha, it feels like it didn't take long for a newcomer to come so soon. Rimuru Turnpest. Welcome newcomers to join. Ains Ul Christine. Welcome everyone, newcomers, please be sure to read the announcement. Izumi Sagiri. Welcome, welcome. Ace Day. Welcome to the dress, hehe. Zhang Jiwei. The old man came out of retreat now, and there is a newcomer. Monkey King. What kind of demon technique is this? Get out of my old grandson's mind. Is it a new trick of Buddha Lauer? Monkey King. Huh, what is this? It's like something from the time I contacted the king of the world. Are you also called Monkey King? Wu Luki. Wu Luki. Maybe it was because I didn't rest well last night and my brain buzzed. There are still so many fonts. It's really fun. Sakamoto. Inshimo Sakamoto, what are you doing? Rin Tosaka. Kageyama Shigeo. Sha Zichiyu Shiyu. Hey, how come there are two Monkey Kings? Did they have the same name this time in the group? Yi Fan. Monkey King. Could it be? Zhang Jiwei. Little friend Yi Fan also noticed, two Monkey Kings, shouldn't one of them be the legendary Monkey King? Yi Fan. I have tracked down many existences from the ancient times, and it is not impossible for Monkey King. Monkey King. Hey, since you know my grandson, why don't you get out of my grandson's mind? Tony Stark. Newcomers should not be too arrogant, just go to the group announcement first. Monkey King. Humph. You let my grandson watch it, what are you? Monkey King. Don't be so irritable, how do you look at group announcements, huh? I seem to have found it. Edward Newgate. Hulla, this time the newcomer is a bit unruly. The two people with the same name have a big difference in personalities. Ains Ul Christine. No one dares to make trouble in the group of Mr. Immortal, if the newcomer continues to make such a mess, it will be a beating. Ains Gong. I am willing to do the work for Mr. Immortal and take the initiative to teach this unruly newcomer. Yi Fan. Forget it, if the old master and I are right, one of the Monkey Kings should be the Monkey King we are familiar with. Yi Fan. The great sage realm, but a stronger existence than me. Ains Ul Christine. Ah, this. Rimuru Turnpest. Huh, it's even more powerful than Yi Jie, is this too scary? Levi Ackerman. Shouldn't these newcomers be all big guys? Saitama. Hiss, is it so scary? Jin Muyan. Ha ha ha, why is Mr. Saitama not burning up and exclaiming horror, isn't it the person? For a long time, Saitama is always in a state of enthusiasm when he sees the strong, clamoring to fight. It turned out to be so abnormal this time, and not only did not yell. What is even more surprising is that he actually said the word horror. Saitama. Ha ha ha, in the past, I made everyone laugh. Since I came to the world of Zishin, I have fought more and more, and I have already recovered the emotions and passions I once had. Saitama. Picture. After that, Saitama uploaded a photo of herself. The once bald head has disappeared, with thick black hair and a sunny smile, looking handsome and handsome. Sha Zichiyu Shiyu. Surprised. Saitama actually has hair. Polygonum cuspidatum urine. Was. Congratulations. The once bald Saitama has regained thick hair. Mon Yashi. Isn't it a wig? Saitama. No, it's real hair. Monkey King. I've finished reading it, it turns out to be other worlds, what a miraculous thing. Zhen Zhao Da Ji Yu. Why is this Monkey King suddenly so obedient? Yi Fan. Because they are not the same person at all, there are two Monkey Kings in there. Beatrice. It's so messy, why is it called Monkey King? Izumi Sagiri. Yes, it's messy. Jin Muyan. Let Mr. Immortal come out and think of a way. Gojo Go. Makes sense, at Senju Chang. Rimuru Turnpest. At Senju Chang. ... Seeing this, Senju, who was in Konoha, opened his mouth. If he guessed correctly, the two Monkey Kings should be Monkey King in Journey to the West and Monkey King in Dragon Ball. I don't know where the Monkey King of Journey to the West is now. Was he just ascended to the Heavenly Court, or he had already made trouble in the Heavenly Palace and was suppressed at the foot of Wuji Mountain? Anyway, it will never have taken the Western longitude. After all, he just yelled to Lauer Buddha. With this attitude, how could he learn from the scriptures? Of course, it is also possible to learn the Buddhist scriptures just on the road. At that time, the Monkey King was still rebellious. But later, he was gradually brainwashed by the Buddha, and he changed from Kishin Great Sage to fighting and defeating the Buddha. The other son Wukong should be after Dragon Balls. He knows the king of the world, so he is the son Wukong who has been married and had children. I just don't know if it is Dragon Balls or Dragon Ball GT. Or maybe it's Dragon Ball Super. As for the other four newcomers, it is easy to judge. Their names are very unique and do not have the same names as other characters. The boss of Sakamoto is an eye-catching ordinary high school student, and his gestures contain a cool energy, and he is still too cool. Anyway, it is very hanging, all kinds of show operations. No matter what kind of emergencies they face, they can stay calm in the face of danger, stay calm, and resolve them in a powerful way. Wu Luki, the protagonist from the assassin Wu Luki, is the #1 killer in their world. Because of the loss of his memory, he became a man with fake shorts, really gentle and passionate. Work as a hairdresser in a Dabao hair salon, disguise your body in any shape. In order to find his own past, embarked on the road of assassins. Rin Tosaka, from the world of Fate Stay Night, a beautiful girl who participated in the 5 Holy Grail Wars. The proper black long straight Oni-san, looks very beautiful. He is good at using the conversion magic passed down by the Tosaka family, and transfers his magic power to gems, which can be taken out at any time. At the same time, the Grandmaster did a little close combat, but these strengths were placed in the 10,000 Realms chat group, which obviously ranked to the bottom. The last Kageyama Shigeo came from 100% psionic power. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running.